What's up, everybody, and welcome to the show. This podcast episode is brought to you by IBOW Training. As you know, we talk about training pretty frequently here on the show, and the IBOW has some amazing people that they work with in their network. Are you a designer, rapper, sign maker, or beyond? If you want to invest in your creativity for the future, IBOW Training is the right choice. IBOW is the nation's first training organization to offer training in all aspects of the rap industry, from quoting, design, printing, production, and installation. They offer a variety of training options such as training at your shop, group training classes nationwide, and even private design and print profile training through remote login. With trainers nationwide, IBOW offers support day and night by phone, and many of their trainers are within a day's reach for emergencies. IBOW is growing and will continue to support the industry in a positive manner. For more information, please visit ibowtraining.com. We are also brought to you by We Print Wraps. We Print Wraps is the industry's #1 source for wholesale printed wraps. How easy is it to order wraps? Well, all you have to do is sell the job. Go to weprinwraps.com, choose your desired film for the installation, upload your design, and if you're not a designer, no problem. They can design one for you and get your wraps delivered right to your door. They offer free nationwide shipping all across the U.S. and Canada on all orders over $500. And for exclusive listeners of the All Wrapped Up podcast, you can get 5% promo code when you type in the word All Wrapped Up at checkout to save on your next order today. Less risk, no overhead, wholesale printing. See why the industry pros love them. To get more information, visit weprinwraps.com. Our guest today got his start sign painting and went on to college to get his degree in animation. With his partner Matt, he is now teaching essential design, print and installation skills, as well as business know-how you need to succeed in the world of vehicle graphics under Roland's Born to Rap workshop. Please give it up for your rapper's favorite DJ, Dallas Fowler. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to All Wrapped Up podcast. We'll be interviewing industry-leading rap companies to share tips, tricks, stories, and more. All right, Dallas, what's going on, brother?
How we doing, sir?
I'm doing well, What you got cracking today?
So currently, I am in sunny California.
Lucky.
I'm in San Fran. So I'm probably 45 minutes outside San Fran, and hopefully I'm pronouncing this right. But Venecia, it's a Denko location out here. It's one of Roland's partners. So basically what it is jelly, depending whoever has space or if it's a shop or a warehouse or whatever it may be. But Denko is this one. And so we're actually doing the Born to Rap class out here, which normally is about 15 students, 15 to 18 most of the time.
Wow.
So that's geared up for tomorrow. So I'm hyped and ready, awesome 5-hour plane ride. Always does your back good.
Oh.
But I've been doing some magic on the plane, though. I don't know what it is. I have trained myself to either sleep. I usually can fall asleep before the plane takes off. Or if I stay awake, I'm like, all right, I got to do something productive. I got to draw. I got to do something. So
yeah, keep your mind busy.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people watch movies and do whatever, but I'm usually either meditating or figuring out what it is I need to be doing or what I didn't do before I just left.
Yeah, time to catch up.
Yeah, standing to the hourglass, like, oh yeah, I got to go somewhere. Well, those people don't know I'm going to be gone for like 4 days, so
wow.
I try to get as much done as possible.
How often do you travel? Are you traveling now?
So it looks like, and I'm just probably shooting off the hip. Matt probably correct me. Me and him been doing this training for Roland for quite some time now, and I kind of lose count. I feel like every time I'm like, oh yeah, it's been 6 years. Oh, it's been 8 years. I kind of forgot. But basically, I think this year, we added 18 stops this year, which normally it was about, it used to be 3, then it was 6, and then you would add the live show that we would do in the Roland booth. And so this year we did a new format and added the MBM show as well, where we do a little day and a half, little bunny hop training where Matt does some talking, and then I do a little 4-hour demo on some tailgate and door and sprinter door, just some stuff, little playground stuff to kind of get people's feet wet and get them excited about coming to their class. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we've just had so much fun showing people. I just never imagined it would turn into this, where, you know, practicing with stickers and playing and doing things now turning into, you know, passion to try to show people and get that same fire burning in them to, you know, let them have a good time and go out and be successful and make money. And I think essentially it's, at the end of the day, that's really what we all want, you know.
100%.
Is to have a job that we do like. And, you know, this is an art form no matter what, no matter which way you slice it. It's, you know, sculpting with stickers and new contours and cars and challenges and art. I know it's never ending. I think it's part of, I kind of love about it. So the training has been this new thing where you can, you know, see people that, you know, okay, they're going to get it and they're going to enjoy it and go on to do something, or you just, there's been some people who've already pretty situated and got their hands, you know, pretty tight in wrapping, and maybe they just come for a couple pointers. Or
right.
Sometimes I feel like it's confirmation, you know, like everybody in the area is like, probably, you know, just like how we were in the beginning, oh, you're so good, you're so good. But then when you actually sit down, it's like, all right, well, compared to everybody else, like, how's it? Okay, I'm going to go to this class. And then when, you know, you see an instructor and other people you look up to saying certain things, you're like, oh, okay, I kind of already knew that. I do something similar to that. Oh, well, all right, I can kind of add that to my arsenal of tricks here. And I don't use it every day, but, you know, I'll break it out when necessary.
Yeah. I think there's so many tricks out there. I'm starting to write notes on certain things because I feel like when you get into the groove of repetition and you're rapping, you know, commercially, you're rapping the same amount of trucks or the same style trucks constantly. You know, Mercedes Sprinters, you know, Nissan NVs, high roofs, short roofs, you know, Express Chevy vans.
For sure.
You get into the groove and you kind of fall into like this repetitive way of installing. You don't really think about how you can shave time or how you can, you know, save a couple minutes on this particular way of doing it. You just kind of fall in the groove, you become complacent, and you just do what's natural. And sometimes your hands just kind of work for you. It's almost like you're a robot. You already know where to go, and you just do it, and then that's it. And I've gotten to the groove of writing things down, like different tricks for corners or things around rubber gaskets, or, you know, maybe I'm not going to take the taillights off on this one. Maybe I'll see how close I can get, like a nice cut and drop behind it. You know, you're always looking for those one little, you know, tips or tricks to get by, you know?
Well, and I think, you know, I mean, which is speaking of, you know, obviously muscle memory and things, where that's where a lot of times, you know, people come up and they see you do something, no matter what trade you're in, if you're drawing, airbrushing, or just some kind of skill, whatever it may be. But I think where people come up and they're, oh, you make it look so easy. And it's like, really, I just, you know, no matter what you're doing, it's like, well, I don't really think about it. It's just so repetitive now. But
right.
I think that's probably the best part that I've seen right now, especially with everybody in the industry being so many different trainers, you know. And don't get me wrong, you could get on and watch videos and you could step into a class and show 30 of the most current awesome tricks, and that's fine. But something that I've been trying to do, and that's where even, you know, when Matt teaches and I teach, same format, but just totally different instructors, because a lot of the stuff that I'm teaching, no matter what, is my moves and tricks that I use on a daily basis that I've seen that are like, all right, this right here is a good common move. I mean, to me, I feel like it's the same 4 or 5 moves over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Just the obstacles are what's really changing.
Right.
So but then you get out and then you see other people at these shows and do something, you're like, oh, that's kind of a different little version of what, well, okay, cool. And well, if you did it like this. And so I think that's probably what's the neatest part about everything is, everybody's so open to share tricks.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if it's like, hey, you know, I showed him that. It isn't even that. It's like, hey, like, oh, you don't know that yet? Well, we'll pass the knowledge on. Like, here's what I found out. Okay, cool. pass that on. And so that's kind of what's been neat about it all is, so many different people. And that's where I feel like, instructors, and I tell people, even after taking my class, you should go learn from somebody else. Go learn from, John or Justin or Chad or just anybody you can, because I feel like it ends up being like, like different senseis for like martial arts.
Yep.
It's what it really is. And then you just tuck that stuff in your pocket and like, okay, that situation arises where it's like, okay, cool. Well, all right, well, here's where it's necessary. But for us, it's, we're probably 80% commercial. So a lot of ours is good and a lot of, repetition on, like you're saying, bands and sprinters and just common stuff where, it's clean, it stays on, doesn't wrinkle, doesn't peel back, and the customer's still happy. So that's where I just really, and one of the things I've really been saying, and I told the guys that didn't go today, I said, the greatest thing about this class tomorrow is, this is the smartest I've ever been. If you would have taken my class 2 years ago versus today, like I'm way smarter today than I ever was, and I just have learned so much more as time goes on. But one of the main things that I really try to push home, because I feel like, me and Matt are different styles, and that's what has made us a great team as a company. But, for me, I'm more the art, the production, the installer side of the business, and it always seemed like, when we said something couldn't be done, I thought, okay, well, let me give it a try. But I think the main thing that I found out now, years later, that I really try to teach is, how can we do something 10 times in a row and it'd be the same? When you're doing a fleet job, okay, the guy's got 10 trucks, cool. You usually don't do all 10.
Right.
I mean, for smaller companies, don't get me wrong, there's larger companies step in, they'll do a whole fleet, provided they have all of them in the same location, cool, and you can go bang them out. But for us, a lot of times the vehicle comes, all right, cool, and you get that one done, they bring the next one. So to me, I just really started to see that, even in the beginning, wrapping a bumper with the phone number embedded. Okay, cool. That was what I thought wrapping was. You couldn't cheat. You couldn't do overlays. You couldn't do things. That was like a, no. And for me now, I look back and I watch my guys put on a bumper, and even me putting on a bumper, and I'm thinking, man, there's even with tape marks, registrations, little tricks that you do to try to. But I'm thinking, all right, when all 10 of these are in the parking lot, are they really in the same spot, or can we just print the bumper, rock a color on, and then go up with a tape measure and lay a phone number down in the exact same spot every time? That way, all 10 are done, they're in the parking lot, they're dead on.
Right.
So I'm always trying to edit my tricks and techniques to say, all right, cool. All right, if we peel this hood wild and just go full cowboy with it and peel it off, is it cool? But are the logos going to be in the same spot every time? Or should we just go ahead and use magnets? Even though the material lets us do it,
right,
what's really the best way for the best outcome, So, and then I think too that even other people's mindset, that's what causes other installers to be different, to be more methodical, to be faster than some other people, because I definitely know I'm not fast for sure. But, maybe that's the thing, because we know there's people out in the industry that just run circles around me and you probably, and I haven't even seen you, but I've seen some of these competitions and I'm thinking, oof, he's going fast and he's got people watching. You get back at the shop and you're like, man, I could do that in that amount of time. All right, cool. But then put a timer on you and do it. Go to one of these certifications and rock out a 50-minute hood and thinking, oh yeah, all right, cool. Now no mistakes. Now no error. It's a little different. But, so, I don't know, but it's been a crazy, crazy long, fun journey, and I've almost lost count of, how many people we've trained. And you remember it when people come and are like, oh man, remember I took your class in Chicago 8 years ago. And I'm like, what? Isn't that long? Like, my gosh, all right, how did that work out? Are things good? Man, I got to shop, and it's just, I think that's probably the fun part now. In the beginning, you remember when we did vehicles.
Right.
You show it to them on the computer.
Yep.
But turning it over to them was the funnest part. In the parking lot, hey, here's your car. Man, it looks so much better than it did on the screen. That moment was always my favorite.
Yep. Agreed.
And now it's slowly morphed into this. They take the class, they're stoked, and obviously 2 days of training, they're usually worn out and their brains kind of washed at the end of day 2.
Yep.
But to hear them come up to shows later and speak to them either on phone or email or years later, and just to hear their success stories and thinking, man, you know, you taught me it, and I'm thinking, I just kind of showed you some things to be aware of. You did it on your own by really practicing and, you know, having those scenarios and customer, you know, customers love to do that stuff to us.
I think the best part of being a trainer, that I would think, is just planting that seed. And then later on down the road, just, you know, hearing that seed grew into a flower and it's bloomed and they've gotten to where they are, whether it's a full-blown successful business or still a one-man shop, but they opened up a shop, left their 9-to-5 to pursue this career, all because of a short, you know what? It's 8-hour days, 2 days,
yep.
16 hours, seed that you planted, that they, took it amongst themselves to go and take time out of their day to learn this craft and then pursue, more training or get more involved in it. And later on down the road, get that phone call, get that email, bump into them at a show and be like, hey, thanks for showing me that in the beginning, because now I am where I am because of that. It's gotta be a good feeling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's humbling, but at the same time too, I want them to feel like that, it's that hard work. It was them selling that wrap, convincing that customer, getting it in there and then muscling through, and then maybe remembering, all right, okay, I remember what he said. And then eventually over time, you don't have to keep reminding yourself, it's almost like you need to make a few mistakes. You need to do that stuff. So I feel like these classes, they're not certifications, but it's been a great thing for rolling users that, all right, they buy a printer. Mm-hmm. Cool. I want to get into wraps. All right. Well, here's a good intro class. I feel like we're kind of maybe a good gateway to, to kind of getting their feet wet and really teaching them about some things, some do's and don'ts, and things to worry about and think about. And not only that, the perspective that we're coming from, and I think that's what's worked so well with us being a sign shop and being lucky enough to teach, under Roland's umbrella is, we're coming from that sign shop experience. So we've got those stories. Right. We've got those customers. We've got those prints that went wrong. We've got, you're only as good as the mistakes you can fix or hide. So now we have a few of those, like, all right, what do we do in this situation? Well, I mean, here's the thing. And then a lot of it too, you can solve some of that by how you drive the customer, how you set their expectations. Right. Because I think in the beginning, even me, I was guilty of it. Like, our wrap means no paint can show. Okay, but for Jimmy's plumbing, does that really matter? He wants his stuff on straight, no wrinkles, no bubbles, and you don't want to come back in 2 weeks because some edges lift. Right. So it becomes more simple, I think, when it's broke down and you really tell them what kind of the importance of it is. And then, the training part of it is just common technique. How do you put it on? How do you get it? How do you finish? Post heat. Making sure everything's trimmed. Coming back and just really looking your stuff over. It's probably something where we've learned, sometimes I feel like these, and Matt says a lot too, that first wrap class that anybody takes, sometimes is the most important one. Oh, yeah. It kind of guides them in that way and sets that tone of, and I mean, even years ago, a lot of our classes were Avery based. Mm-hmm. So we had some people that come in and, if they'd never touched the material before, and then the first class they have is they touch Avery or they touch 3M, that becomes their religion. Right. Before they know, like, all right, this is the material we're going to use. I'm going to get good at it. And most of them, they won't stray from that unless the material, or they get really burned by, something, a really bad situation. For the most part, they won't switch. I mean, maybe you could say the same. Well, what was your first material, that you messed with? Have you stayed true to it? And, fuck no. I went back and forth, dude. I'll tell you, I printed on a lot of Oracle at first, and then I was like, let me try this 3M stuff, and then I never looked back. I never bought Oracle again. Back when it was Oracle. Now it's Oracle, but
now the shop I work at, dude, they're strictly Avery, which I'm like so out of the loop on. I'm like, whoa, this is like super low tech. I'm like, I don't even know what to do.
Yep.
Like my first install, right? My boss is like, oh, go wrap this hood. It's an SRT 8. It was the Cherokee version of the SRT 8. He's like, dude.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, man, go wrap the roof. We're going to do a little thing on the top spoiler. Don't go nuts. We'll just knifeless tape it. I'm like, all right, cool. I get it. 3 days later, I get a phone call. Oh, the thing's curling up on the back of the spoiler. And I'm like, what, dude? I'm like, I've been in business for I don't even know how long, and I've never had a car come back because I either overstretched it or the thing was curling up. Like I felt so embarrassed for myself. I'm like, dude, did I like lose my touch? I know I took a 3-year hiatus, but it doesn't, I don't forget what shit feels like, I know not to overstretch it. That's the first fucking thing. And, dude, I did that stupid wing. Guess how many times?
Let's go for 3.
Let's go for 3. Yep. 3 times I did that wing. And I couldn't figure out why. And I'm like, dude, does he have something on here I don't know about? Or like, I did so much. And I'm like, there's no way. So I had him do it. And, he got the same result. I'm like, okay. Thank God. Sure. It's not me.
Where were you on? Yeah, where were you on attempt number 2?
Yeah, it's like money lost. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like we're just doing it.
$230 in.
Yeah, we're just doing it to please the customer now. It's just, it is what it is. But yeah, it is 100% true. When you first touch that material, and they say, this is 3M, this is Avery, this is Orfold, whatever, this is Arlon. Generally, like, that's your mentality. That's already ingrained. Like, I have to use this and master this before I touch anything else. And I feel like you shouldn't do that. You should really just start getting all of them underneath your belt and just find one that you really are comfortable with that works well in your shop and have that be your main base. But don't just stick to that one, because you're going to get that one job that, they're going to like that Avery Supreme wrap color over the 1080. And then you're going to be like, oh shit, I've never installed it. Like, what's going to be the trick to it? And, I think you got to be versatile in all the brands, at least something.
It's quite interesting that you segued into that.
Yeah.
Because me being in this, I've been in signs a long time, but so 2 things. One, when we first started, so we started digital in 2004 and didn't know what we were doing. Obviously we had, me and Matt met at a different shop, and we were trying everything. We tried Orfol, we tried MacTac and 3M and Avery and, and in our area, super hot summers, winter, snow, ice on the car. So we were trying to find what really worked for us. And I think the toughest part for shops to figure out is, well, what is the best material? What is how well does it come off in our region? What are some of the answers? And, I would say forever, man. I was anti-3M forever because I didn't understand it. I couldn't do it, man.
Wow.
We would do vans. I would do hundreds of vans in other material. We were an Avery house, so we would lay it, boom, do whatever, and then, gullies would jump on me, and I'm thinking, and so I was like, all right, but there's something we're not doing wrong, or there's a material, or whatever it may be. And, funny thing is that now, Roland, just releasing the VG2. And so, one of the things that they wanted to make sure was now moving forward in the classes, being a print company, obviously, we were kind of driving the train, but they, hey, this material works good, people can learn on it easy, which was Avery, what we were teaching on. Mm-hmm. And so now, starting at the beginning of this year, now in the Born to Rap classes, we actually let the students touch 4 different films.
Wow.
So now it's Avery, 3M, Arlon, Orfol. So the cool thing about that is, now I'm saying, okay, here's all of them. Here's the bagging. They all have different kinds of aircraft. They all have different tack points.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that you said that is so true is that even if I was an Avery house, okay, people are sending me a band kit,
Right.
in 3M. You need to know how to put them all on.
Mm-hmm.
So now this is a perfect chance for students to step in and say, okay, cool. All right, here's the different medias. You can heat them, you can crunch them, you can stretch them. All right, feel them all. And then now you can kind of make up your mind which way.
Yeah.
But let's do a hood in Avery. Let's do a hood in Norfolk. Let's, get a feel for it because, there was people that used to come to class that were 3M people. And of course we were teaching in class and they would pick up the techniques, but, maybe they didn't care for Avery or whatever it may be. So now I feel like it's just such a great thing to now, these brand new students that come in these classes and now I can say, all right, now here's all four. Get a feel for them, play with them, do whatever and move on. But, segueing into that, what happened is so that now, in order for us to teach, and I totally respect it, but, 3M said, hey, if you guys are going to be, showing our products, we want to make sure you're certified.
Right.
So guess what? Two old guys had to do?
Go get certified.
We had to go get certified. And I'm telling you what, that was probably the most stressful and probably the best thing that I've done in a long, long time.
Well,
one, to put yourself out there again.
Right.
Say, because think about it. It's your business. We can run it and drive it whatever direction. And if we didn't want to use the material or we didn't want to do a certain install, you don't have to.
Right.
But if you want all the money and you want all the chips, and you want to take on every install that comes through the front door, was a great way. All right, well, knowing all the medias. And I'm going to tell you what, now, to this day, I now understand why. Is because I just wasn't handling 3M the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And I go and I learn from some guys, I learned from Adam Sumner at Graphics, went, got certified, actually passed, which is, I'm telling you what, anybody that thinks, if they haven't, and hats off to anybody that's already passed. I think a lot of people may have already thought we were, but, we were certified, but, I'm so happy that we did. Because I'm going to tell you now, I feel like I'm even better installer than I was.
Yeah.
Because now I understand this, Mac versus PC, this, Avery versus 3M, or anybody who's 3M and doesn't use other materials, or anybody that's Avery and doesn't use, there becomes this thing of, the adhesives and the way the materials handle from Wholesale to the other ones is, they're just so different.
Right.
And if you don't know a couple of those things, like how they like to be babied, it just ain't working the same. And I'm telling you what, I feel like Magic Man now. It's game on now. I'm like, bring it on now. And so, I'm so excited about the fact that we went, and being, I guess open since 2004. So we're nearing our 15-year anniversary for digital effects. And, to go and learn again, and the funniest story is, Adam, we come through and he's just, kind of laughing at us. He calls us glitz and glam, but he says, the roller guys, and, he says, man, I went to a sign show years ago looking for a motocross adhesive, and I come into the sign show and there I see you and Matt putting these graphics on a Scion in Long Beach.
Wow.
And then now here we are 8-something years later being taught by a dude that came in, mastered his craft, went on to do great things, now has a 3M training. I mean, this is probably the neatest thing about the industry. This is the biggest eye opener for me, is thinking, man, think about that. How we can all learn from each other, no matter what skill level, how many years in the game. Everybody's so humble and willing to share, and I don't know. It was probably one of the best things that we had done. Probably the most stressful in a long time.
Oh, I believe it.
I try to work smarter, not harder. So
right, yeah. You must feel like you have a cheat sheet now. You'd be like, damn, I've been waiting all this time and I've been doing it wrong. What the hell?
Well, and the thing is, I understand it now. For all the reasons that I didn't like it, it's because I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably something good that anybody could look at anything and say, man, I'm having trouble with that, or my corners are always buckling, or whatever it may be, bottle capping. okay, well, there's something, because when you think about it, it's all technique, man, and I'll tell you probably the worst thing about it is I go to that and I come back and boy, did I turn my shop upside down. Jeez.
That's
They're probably
funny.
just like, oh, Mr. Certified now going to come back and try to change things. But
Yeah.
for me, it was like, and the funniest thing is, everybody, even, people in our shop and anybody else in their shop, we all start to get comfortable in our grooves, like you were saying.
Right.
And I think we slowly, every now and then, I told the guys, I was like, man, we're going to, we're all going to come together and let's just have a chat again. Make sure we're all back on the same page. We're all finishing the same. We're all, because, think about it. It's like a band. It's hard to keep, it's hard to keep everybody on the same page every day at 100%. It's just not possible. But, now, I just wanted to, I almost want to send them so I can stress them out just the way I had to be stressed because they think the old guy is just complaining, but I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like patting myself on the back and anybody else, I feel like I'm a part of a brotherhood now. It's like, oh, hey, you just went this year? Oh, yeah. And we did that years ago. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, well, hats off to you, and anybody that's passed any certification,
I think that's the best. I think that's the best time to do it when you're like a year in, 2 years in, and you've got a lot of cars underneath your belt. You've already done, your sweetheart or your honeymoon phase is already over. Where now you get the projects and you have to install them. You're working underneath the shop or you're opening up your own shop. I think that's the best time to do it. I think it's harder as years progress. You're 10 years in, you're 15 years in, you're 20 years in to go out and get certified. Because I feel like, coming from that mentality, the way I was at the beginning of the podcast, was, man, I've been doing it forever. As long as I don't have people complaining about me and I don't have cars coming back, more power to me. Like, whatever, I'm doing something right. But at the end of the day, you become complacent. You do wrong things, but nobody's calling you out on it. Like, hey, you can cut a corner here and do it faster and make more money and get home sooner if you did this. Or, I go and bid on a job and the first thing they ask, hey, you have any certifications or not? No. Okay. Well, sorry, you can't bid on this job. That's a bummer.
Yeah, well, for sure. And I think a lot of it too, don't get me wrong, in the beginning, even the customers didn't really know what a good wrap and a bad wrap was.
Right.
And now that's kind of, the tide has changed a bit because we have tons of people that have had wraps and that's their go around for more, or just, the info's out on the street for sure more that, what kind of some of the general expectations are.
Right.
So if you're doing stuff and how it's cool and you're kind of pulling the wool over your customer's eye because they don't know any better and they don't know how stuff should be finished, essentially I feel like, Matt say it a lot too, is I feel like we're rapping to impress other rappers. Just in case Greg, Jeff, Jim, anybody stops by.
Yeah.
So it happens to be cruising around my cars out there in the parking lot. My corners are tight, everything's down, nothing's sloppy, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I feel like it's like that, and when you think about it, we all are. Everybody's pushing the envelope, artwork to install wise to, and I'm just sitting here thinking, how much better can we get? How much faster can we get? Unless these printers are going to print right on the car, I don't know how much more we can. I don't know how much more easier the materials can get unless these car manufacturers are in a conspiracy to make bumpers way more complicated than they need to be because they're just out to get rappers. Like, oh yeah, I want to see them rap this.
Yeah, no shit, right? Well, we got it easy here in the States. In the UK, oh my God, over in Europe, they've got probably the worst cars to rap. My God, those bumpers are crazy. In Europe, oh my God. So many crevices and just areas to oh, no way. No thanks. We got it easy here.
And we know too that, I got the chance to go to the UK in '09 and, see, I was over there for about a week, but, I feel like that with music and even rapping, that they're definitely pushing the bar you know,
You think
or have
they're
been
ahead of
way
the
more than,
curve?
I don't know. I just know that from rumors, what I've heard from, from Justin and just other various people who have gone and just, they're over there rapping, with calendar media, wet apps,
Right.
we're over here like good old Americans. We take it the easy way, the slide and glue, the big,
Right.
I felt like it's, it has this American thing to it where, but, not to take credit from anybody. It's just, everybody's pushing the bar no
Yeah.
matter what, it's just in your own area. And I think, here's the real reality that, that we kind of had to face, helping Justin do the Avery classes there for, a good year and a half or so. I don't get a lot of chrome in my area.
Yeah.
We,
Same.
Louisville's a college town, so we don't have, pro basketball, pro football. We don't have any of those major teams or those major players just kind of really throwing around, 10 grand for chrome wraps and Ferraris and Lambos. Now, I'm not saying there isn't any running around Louisville. It's just, it's not the same as South Florida or Atlanta or LA, where it's just, you can really, get good at it and hone your craft and just doing chrome.
Right.
So for us, it was, we had dabbled with it quite a bit, but didn't, just didn't have our hands in it and probably don't care to. I used to feel like it was the heavyweight champ, it was like the Mike Tyson of vinyl, but, I don't want no part of it. I don't want no part of it.
It's too stressful. It's too stressful. It's too much of a nut to, $3-4 grand for a roll of film. It's like, oh God, this could be make or break,
Well, and I think what happens too is even for us, we're like, man, we're going to price it so high that even if they say, yeah, it's like, it'll be worth it. And if we have a few errors, it'll be worth it. But, we recently learned, on this gold Lambo that we did, super nice. And I mean, here's the thing, even as educated as we are at this point in the game, white Lambo comes in.
Ugh.
Cool. First thing I told him, all right, cool. I don't know, and anything we do is pre-inspection. You got to bring that shit.
Right.
Bring the car by. I ain't doing that. We ain't quoting that. You bring the car by, let us look at it. Let's have a conversation. Let's set their expectations. And
Exactly.
so with the white car, I knew better.
Yep.
So I said, all right, look, here's the deal. We're going to pipe in this area. We're going to do some gloss black here and this and that. And basically I set myself up to where we were doing about as flat an install as you could. Nothing going over any curves, nothing crazy, intense. We're going to be gloss black. I mean, I set it up to where it was like, this is going to be foolproof, But the problem that we learned, we charged him, pretty penny on it. And I think over time, when people spend that much money, one, I think they think it has a lifetime warranty. Which,
what do you mean? It doesn't? It doesn't?
It's like, every time something goes wrong, I'm going to bring it back to you and repair it. Like, I'm pretty sure we didn't have that conversation, but that's kind of not how it works.
Yeah, I just bought enough to do your car, bud.
But I think what it is this guy learned how much he hated it.
Oh.
How finicky it is. I think he learned how much attention he got from it. He's like, I can't go to heat anywhere unless I can see my car because I come out pictures like, dude, scratch your car in gold chrome. What do you think? It's going to attract people.
Yeah.
But I think he learned that just the maintenance and taking care of it part is the part that I don't think he prepared himself for. Because even if there's stuff that we can fix and, but I mean, just you use the wrong rag, you don't clean it right, you don't do whatever. And I mean, even being garage kept, I mean, this dude wouldn't get it. Most people with high-end exotics are not going to get it out during the rain, but,
right.
He didn't drive it very much, but I think he learned to hate it. That it was just so hard to take care of, and so to me, it was just like, it's hard to say, okay, it's going to be X amount. It's going to be, 8, 9, 10 grand for this chrome wrap. But, there's pretty much no warranty that comes with it. Once we get it on, it's super tight, but you can scratch it real easy. You can do this, you can do that. And I don't think they prepare themselves for that part of it. And don't get me wrong, there's probably other shops that, these bigger cities that have got it dialed in. It's just not, it's not our forte yet. I mean, we can make so much more money doing other things in the amount of time it took,
Yeah.
to knock this thing out, get it super tight, and then every time something goes wrong, they want to bring it back. It's fine, and to keep customers happy, you bend a little.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do whatever to keep your name straight and to keep them happy. But even when we set his expectations of all the negatives that you could think of, I think he just learned that it was just not for him,
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a tough part.
So,
Even the color change market, I'm sure you get it the same way I do here in Boston. It's hit or miss, and people really, there's not that much of that market here, at least in the Northeast, for us.
Yeah, I would say, for us, I don't know what it is. We're on this satin black kick. It seems like it's the only thing people want in Louisville. Yeah, they want satin black. They're like, all right, cool. That makes you cool. And I get it. But, there's a pretty big, Porsche, following, in Louisville. So, once we had got a few under our belt, of course, word kind of travels, but it just seemed like satin black was a thing. But even in our, weekly or monthly kind of intake, we may have one color change and, 8 to 10 other commercial vehicles. So it's not our main bread and butter. It's just something that kind of fills some of the gaps,
Right.
along with paint protection or whatever, but I feel like color change sometimes is a dead end street,
Oh.
You can do a super awesome job for somebody. Great, cool, but it ends there.
Yeah.
Versus if you go and do a company who has a fleet, he's got friends that got fleet. They see how great his fleet would. I just feel like those jobs, domino into other accounts or into never. Because there's some customers we've had since the beginning. Every year they get a van or two, and we'll think, all right, well, we only had 4 or 5 customers first year, and now we're up to however many customers, and so those 4 or 5 vans that just get dropped off. Now it's 35 vans, and you think, all right, Christmas used to be a slow time.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're buying all these vans at the end of the year, and we're busy as all get out, on come December and January. So I don't know. And here's the thing: the color change thing's fine. I just think it's one additive. I think it's super tough to maybe just only do that. So I think you would have to add other.
Services.
It's just like a product. It's just one service, one product. So I think you got to have multiple avenues.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I think I love the cross pollination of detail shops and tint shops cross pollinating into the wraps, whether they're getting, just installers in their shops or they're actually going out and getting training to add it to their arsenal. To wrap and window tint or to wrap and detail. I think those are great, additives or, extra services to add to your business profile. You know what I mean? And being a wrapper, we can't really go the other way unless we go PPF because it's kind of similar. Yep. A lot of us tend to not go the tint route because it's really got to be dust free and it's a little bit more tedious, to learn, at least for me. I hated window tinting more than anything. And
there's an art and craft to each one of them.
Yeah.
If you can't be slow and do tint.
No, you're not making any money.
No, you're not going to make it. So, I mean, we added paint protection into our arsenal, about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. We went and got Wholesale certified, and
nice.
So it was a good thing. Love it, but even when I start hearing people talk about it, like, I'm going to go learn PPF, and I'm thinking, okay, that's cool. I just hope you're not thinking about the dollar signs.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with a totally different caliber of customer there.
Oh my God.
These aren't wrap customers, and I ain't even saying that. Like, I don't know what it is, why it is. I feel like we got to keep learning things as we're going along here. But,
yeah.
Even our process being pretty tight of, the phone call, having to come by, do all that. You take that same wrap process and add it to a paint protection service. You got to dive in a little deeper on that pre-inspection. Mm-hmm. You got to dive in deeper on those expectations of what it's going to look like. And, and this is a different caliber of customer that, is expecting perfection. They think it's magical. They think it's invisible. There's a lot of conversations where now, I mean, I feel bad for them, but sometimes these customers come by and I'm thinking, we're out there and we're looking the car over and I'm thinking, he doesn't have no idea, but I'm interviewing him.
Yeah.
You say some wrong words and, it's one of those where I just want you to know, I'm a pretty particular guy and this is my baby. Those two right there are the two red flags that will get you sent home.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's like, hold on, it's all good. Here's what I think. I think you should go do some research and figure it out, but maybe this product isn't for you.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, even with the shop being super clean, and there's probably people that got it dialed in, but I'm telling you, we got our shop pretty clean and just static, a little something from the zero. Every now and then, one little speck. I mean, and, Matt's been pretty stickler about it. He's like, dude, this is 90 to 95% flawless. I mean, there's even some hospitals that aren't totally dust-free and sterile.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're expecting my shop to be like, I'm telling you right now, like, we've got it pretty dialed in. But, and then don't get me wrong, but dude, when they're spending $2,000 and there's a little speck in their hood and there wasn't before, I get it. But when there's those people that drop them off and they don't even know how many rock chips they got on their front bumper, it's like, it didn't take too many to learn that. It's like, hold on here, let's walk around your car and let's look at it together.
Right.
And then I can set your expectations. And I'm not even talking the day of the install. I'm talking, you want a quote? Cool. Come by. Here's the number. I'm going to give you some printouts, but let's walk around and look at it. Because then if you want to do something, you're not dropping it off on the day of install thinking, well, I wish you would have told me that. I would have went and had it painted because I do want it to be right. All right, well, cool. Well, now I do learn that. So it seems like there was about 15 new pre-inspection, techniques that we had to teach ourselves and the customer that we just had to warn them,
right.
Here's what you need to be aware of and here's what we need to, to tell you what what we can do for you. And I think too, if you can do that, I think coming out of the gate, you'll be fine. But that probably took a good year and a half of unexpected circumstances teaching me and our customers things that we should be warning each other about,
Oh, getting burnt on a job is like the worst thing,
Trust me, we got some stories.
Oh, dude, I just had one the other day with the food truck. It almost ruined us ever doing a food truck ever again. Like this one customer just ruined it for everybody. And that one burn today, we got 2 food trucks in our bay right now to get done. And one got dropped off today. And, I was pre-inspecting. I was looking outside at another vehicle, that he said there were a couple issues about that. I was like, oh, let me go out and take a peek, get away from the computer. And then he brought the clients out from the new food truck they just dropped off. And I could hear him talking. He's like, so what's your expectations here? Like, what are you guys thinking? Because there's a lot of wrong shit going on here. And, you got that chalkiness going on already. And, what's your expectations here, guys? Like, I can hear him.
Yeah.
My boss is super loud. He's like the funniest dude ever. And I'm like laughing my balls off. I'm like, dude, you're totally blowing this out of the water right now because of that last job, huh? He's like, yeah, dude. He's like, I am not and he told him straight out what had happened before. And he's like, listen, I don't want you guys to come pick this thing up and have this exact conversation when you come pick it up. Let's just have it now and hash it out. Sure. I'm going to tell you where I'm going to be at and where my problem spots lie and how I'm going to deal with them. And you guys are either going to be cool with it or you guys are just going to get in the truck and go. I mean, it's one or the other. But I'll tell you right now, this is the way I'm going to do it. And this is the only way I'm going to do it because of the situation. And if you guys are going to be picky about it, then we're probably not the shop for you. And him just being upfront about it, like, we ended up getting another, like, few $100 out of it because now it's going out to get detailed tomorrow. Wet sand it. Well, I think it's getting, what's it called?
The clay board, no?
No, clay. I think they were going to wet sand it to get rid of the chalkiness or a, acid bath to kind of get rid of it. So, our detail shop that we generally use just made a couple $100. They're going to have it for a couple hours tomorrow, bring it back, and, that problem's solved, but it's.
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, most of the time a legit business can appreciate the heads up.
Oh, yeah.
It's when you don't say something. So, I mean, I've had to learn, the hard way, and I've learned quite a bit from that, just, about just being upfront and having those conversations with people, that they can respect it more.
Right.
I wish you would have just told me, why are we having this conversation on the day I'm dropping it off? So that's why we've been a super stickler about pre-inspection, because some people, they're like, well, it's F-150. Like, all right, cool. We've done F-150s, but still need you to bring the vehicle by.
Right.
Again, I think they get a little bit nervous, and they don't really understand. But it's like your F-150 and the other 100 F-150s we've done, it's just different scenarios. Maybe you got a chrome bumper. Maybe there's certain things about yours that can or can't be done, but let's have that conversation now instead of the day you drop it off. And then it's like, I already had it lined up. I mean, the timing was right, and then now it's not because, and really if you, when you dial it in, process-wise, our business is A to Z. It's the same steps over and over and over.
Right.
And, we used to go over it and we'd say, man, what happened on this? We've done bands before. What happened on this band? Why are we having so much trouble with it? And when it comes down to it, it's because you skip a step in your process. The customer does something that, I'll just send you the pics and measurements, or, when they change and kind of go off the rail of what your process is that you found works for your shop, when they start skipping a step, that's when I see stuff go wrong.
Yeah.
And so as a team, from stuff that I've seen, and Matt and Neil, we just kind of dialed it in and said, all right, we come together as a collective, and we're just like, we cannot do anything unless they bring it by. And doesn't always make them the happiest. The cars aren't always super close sometimes, so it's a little tough in some situations, but it definitely is a much smoother outcome for everybody.
Oh, my
in the
God,
end.
yeah.
So, I don't know, but for sure, good for him for saying something to the food truck guy. Because here's the thing, I mean, those aren't cheap. I mean, it's $5 to $7 grand, who knows? But
right.
He wants it to be right too. He doesn't want some edges coming back. Because here's the thing that I think anybody understands: once a vehicle leaves, the thing that irritates them the most is having to bring it back.
Right.
Dude, I thought you had it. I thought you were good. I thought you had a dial in. Why am I having to bring it back over an edge?
Right. Over an edge.
So
right.
Yeah, for sure. So you might probably better off to make sure.
I think the pre-inspection in the beginning and the pre-inspection before it goes out is 100%, bulletproof process to have as a redundant, because having that happen today, because I backed him up as I was looking at the other truck. I see him talking to two dudes, and I'm just thinking, okay, it's 2 against 1. Let me go over there. Let me go over there and put my 2 cents in. So, he wipes his hand on it. He's explaining, the chalkiness on his fingers. He's like, listen, we're going to clean it as best as we can with alcohol bath, blah, 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 blah. But we do recommend you take another step, either getting it painted so we have a fresh coat on there for good adhesion, or we leave it the way it is. And, you got all right adhesion. It will stick, but, longevity, it's probably not going to be the best thing because it's going to be floating on that chalkiness. Or you give it an alcohol, or you go and get it, detailed and get it wet sanded so it takes away that chalkiness, and we got a pretty good base. And it's just longevity. Either way, the shit's going to stick. You know what I mean? It's just how long is it going to stick for is the question. So,
Well, and they know too. I mean, a lot of times when they have vehicles that are in bad situations, I think
I've never
so many
seen
years, people are like, the wrap is the way to go. Because I don't want to pay for a paint job. Let's just throw a wrap on it. It's like, dude, our business is based upon the surface.
Right.
Just like paint. If it ain't got a good surface, this thing isn't going to last.
Right. 100%.
And I think they think it's the quick fix, It's like they think it's like shrink wrap. Like, all right, we'll put it on, they're going to heat it and do some little jazz. And they probably got the graphics on a shelf somewhere and it's already said.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I got it sitting in the back already. I've been waiting for you to walk in. Come on in. I got the right film for you, buddy.
Yeah, sure.
It's just you've never seen I've never encountered a brand new food truck ever in my life. I've never seen a brand new one. They always come beat up, crashed. There's rust everywhere by the gas tank. There's just the only thing you see new are brand new like aluminum panels for the back where the tanks are. Yeah, that's it. That's the only thing. Everything that's inside's brand new, but the outside looks like shit. Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you use latex and use a house roller?
Yeah. Oh,
it looked like you rolled that on. It looked like you rolled that on.
Oh.
You know it's going to show, right?
Second to last one we just did. Literally, the one that gave us the problem was the week before, and then we got this other huge monster. This thing was like 30 feet long. It was insane. We told him, go get it painted and then bring it back. He comes to drop it off. We already pre-inspected it. We're like, dude, go get it painted. We think, okay, it's going to go get like a single stage, white paint with clear coat all in one, some type of Mako deal. Just give me something like nice. Brings it back and I'm looking at the thing. I'm like, wow, it's really bumpy for a fucking Mako job. He goes, oh no, I fucking rolled it. I'm like, what? Yeah. You rolled it? He goes, yeah, I took some paint and I rolled it. And I'm like, you fucking kidding me? Like house paint? He's like, yeah, man. He didn't even take off the old graphics. Didn't nothing. Just went over the whole fucking thing. Just cracks on that big in the middle of dude.
Yeah, that little rail.
You could, there were cracks like, I don't even know what. They were just split wide open. I'm like, dude, like, this is no good.
Yeah, wait till the summer when that thing looks like a swamp thing, or it looks like a melted candle.
Oh my God, I know.
Getting tender.
I know. It's gonna react. It's gonna react, and the film's not gonna know where to go.
Ugh.
But Curl, my God, dude.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Hey, you know what? You sign off a waiver at the end of the day, and it's on you. You know?
Well, I do know there was one not too long ago, and I walked out and saw like a lot of the edges and stuff did that, and I said, okay, I can probably do this, but you see these rivets and all this stuff here, like I can't go over that. And so because the guy's truck was white, and I was like, see this little grill thing here, I was like, I'm not wrapping over it. Like, you can spray paint that black and do whatever, and then when I put the wrap over it, all these edges and stuff are gonna look nice. But what I did is I avoided all the rivets. And then I just incorporated a little white stripe in the design, and like, easiest box truck ever. But it was all about the setup,
That's
but
it.
You don't always get that lucky. It was actually somewhat fairly nice painted, but still, I mean, it looked like 4 nice paint jobs over those rivets. So like the rivet was no more. It was like under snow, There was a remnant of a rivet under like 8 coats of paint. So.
Jesus Christ. There's like no getting around it.
Yeah, I'm not touching that. I'll cover it for you, but I'm going to stay away from that area right there.
Oh, you get these weird bolts. It's like, why is there a huge fucking 3-inch bolt in the middle of this fucking truck, dude? Like,
right, yeah.
What do I do with that?
The Frankenstein post on the side.
Yeah. Like, what are you holding up on the inside that you have to have this monster sticking out, dude? Like, you cut around it and just wrap the face? Like, that's gonna look like shit.
You're actually, you know what? You're being a hero for leaving that piece on the face of that.
Yeah, because it ain't gonna last.
Like, dude, I went above and beyond. I left it on the face of that bolt for you.
Yeah, you're welcome. The things we get cute with, you know what I mean? Just to kind of please the client. Oh, it sucks.
I'm a victim of it.
Oh.
Matt used to hack on me all the time for wrapping their windshield wipers.
Come on.
Yeah, I would wrap the windshield wipers with like a little bit that was left over from the hood. The little arch you always cut out for the hood. All the pieces there. I'm going to get creative. And this is early in the game, where you're super excited. I'm going to wrap the windshield wiper. And they would show up and they're like, dude, you wrapped the windshield wiper. That's so awesome. And then I was like, dude, Why are you doing that? What if we get 10 of them? Now we have to do the windshield wipers.
That's funny.
He used to get mad thinking, don't be doing that, you know. Next thing you'll be wrapping the lug nuts and then the little locks inside their windows.
My God, dude. That is so fun. I've never seen that done. That's the first that I've ever heard anybody wrap. Yeah.
Come to Kentucky. There's probably some things you haven't seen.
Oh, you guys are on a whole nother level there.
Yeah. You get creative in the parking lot of Walmart, you know.
Oh, Jesus. Come on. Come on. Do you get even the Kentucky Derby was this weekend? Do you get any residual from having that event? Have you done anything for them in the past?
Well, I mean, yeah. It's a big time for the city, you know, because, you know, even the week leading up to it, you know, there's, you know, Thunder over Louisville, there's the parade, there's all kinds of, you know, events going on all week long.
Right.
I mean, good luck getting a hotel or a plane in during around Derby time, but, you know, there's, the Derby usually hosts some pretty big events where they, you know, they wrap the calves or they wrap the tractors that are out on the track. And there's a couple guys in town who do a good job at that stuff. But, you know, it's just like anything, you know, if you've got the account, you know, you're dialed in and usually they won't use anybody different.
Right.
So, but I mean, the thing is, in Michigan, I think it's true probably for anybody. I mean, we're just so busy right now, and I'm hoping everybody is as well too. I think everybody gained the momentum, and summer is back in flow, and people are getting their boats out again and bikes, and so you're getting all kinds of different variables of projects. But I mean, heck, we're just good 3 weeks out at any given time. So I mean, I almost cringe anytime somebody calls, and you know, I hear Neil in the other room. You know, we're about a week and a half, 2 weeks out, and I'm thinking, but if you really play it out right and the customer has given themselves enough time for their project, by the time you quote it, get the artwork done, they're usually ready to be in line.
Yeah, 10 days. 10 days is pretty good
for sure.
Time frame.
But also, too, for anybody brand new who isn't busy, best way to get busy is to tell them you're busy. Because if you're good, you're busy. So even when you ain't busy, tell them you got a weak line. So they will have a tendency to make up their mind a lot quicker of whether they're going to do business with you or make some decisions on that artwork, thinking, I'm weak out. Cool, you're doing the artwork. And they're thinking, yeah, I like that design. Let's go ahead and go so you can get me in line.
Yeah. So it just buys you a little bit.
It could be an evil tactic at the same time, too, but
I like it.
There's so much, you know, and there's so much business for everybody. Even in our city, I mean, there's plenty of business for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, 100%. So when you're this busy, for us to think we could take on the whole city is silly. You know, so really you just take care of your accounts that you've had for forever. And then, you know, any new ones that are coming in that they want to do business for you, you happily take them on, you know, but to try to do that and do whatever, I mean, you almost got to be careful because I'd rather, you know, do something super tight and get it successfully done than spread yourself too thin and start burning bridges, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely could be a bad thing for sure.
Oh, 100%. How much new business do you inquire, you know, on a monthly basis?
That phone is ringing all the time.
Yeah.
I think the thing that's surprising, you know, and probably the best thing about our industry is they're calling us when the business is closing, and they're calling us when they're starting a brand new business.
Yes.
So even when they're starting business or when they're going out of business, they're buying signs, or either they're taking the wrap off or they're doing whatever it may be. But there's tons of all kinds of new business because even in Louisville, you know, the bourbon industry is really growing downtown, and so Bourbon Row and you know, they're just creating a lot of new markets where, you know, now any brand new company where we're going in and maybe we get the vehicle for them, and now we're stepping in and dressing up the storefront.
Yeah.
And doing some other things that maybe we weren't always going after. But, you know, and I think it's just like anybody else. And I think it's why a lot of people add wraps to their arsenal. You know, if they're already a t-shirt or embroidery or a business card company and they're thinking, you know, and they've got the artwork and they've had the customer for 5-10 years and they're thinking, you know, we're thinking about getting a vehicle. I mean, it'd be silly for them not to, you know, take it on and to try it. So I think it's what happens is a lot of these companies say, well, okay, you know, we're trying to get into wraps. You know, we've got printing. We've already got it dialed in. It's been in our family for 25 years, you know, but this part of the business that it's evolving into, you know, we want to grow with. And so I think that's, you know, student wise, that's what I see, you know, is some people that have added a rolling printer or whatever, and then saying, okay, well, it can do our other jobs, banners, signs, you know, heat press, whatever. And then now you can do a wrap. But I try to tell them, you know, just start off nice and easy, you know, do a partial, do something that's, you know, in your comfort zone, you know, but you don't have to come out of the gate swinging, you know, promising full wraps when you haven't, maybe if you haven't even done your own shop truck.
Right,
you need to do your own vehicle.
Yep.
Get that dialed in first before you start really, you know, leaning out there and just offering it, you know. And I think that's what kind of used to happen with the chrome thing. I think people thought they had to do that to show a certain status, you know, but to me, it's like, don't get yourself in that boat. If you're not even comfortable with color change, you know, you don't sit in the ring with Mike Tyson there. They'll hand you something real quick. It's just a different animal, you know, so I don't know. It's interesting how many different avenues, you can take it, you know, how many different niche markets are even within just, you know, the wrap industry.
Right.
You know, from cars to boats to buildings, the insides, the interiors. I mean, you know, even shops. As long as we've been,
big
and
shops.
And I think you accidentally, you know, what's interesting is I think the customers' crazy little ideas and things that they come to you with actually like start to create your niches. You know, some people get into ATV and motocross because of certain things and then a need, and then, well, nobody in our area does that, man. And then before you know it, then all the ATV guys are coming to it.
Right,
you know?
Right.
It's
phases.
We kind of we rebirthed this, it feels like, we're doing ambulances and fire trucks out of nowhere now. It's like, you know, been putting on the Wholesale stuff for years.
Yes.
And we do, you know, we handle J-Town in our area, fire department. And I guess what it is, a couple other fire departments see, and before you know, it's like, yeah, I feel like we're doing, so that's all we're doing now. And so without accidentally knowing, we're creating a newer niche for us, you know, in this reflective game. So, and I mean, even reflective getting better in the wrap world too, you know.
I love Orfolds reflective. That's what we use here for, we carry, I think we carry like, I don't know, maybe 80% of the ambulances and EMTs that are locally here in Massachusetts. We do 80% of their business, and we're constantly getting repairs in, you know, almost weekly we're doing repairs for ambulances or anything like that. And, I've never used the reflective film, and I had to do a replacement stripe on the side of, because now they're transitioning, they're getting out of that van with the big box, and they're using Transit Connect's high roofs for ambulances now. So we've got this crazy nice design with the chevron design in the back. Like, we've killed the market as far as like the way ambulances should look around this area. It's like unbelievable. And we keep on growing because people are like, oh my God, those ambulances look beautiful. And it's insane what we do. And when I install, I'm used to installing 3M. 3M's so forgiving. Orgal's got a little bit more of a, you know, you can't peel and stick the stuff, you know, like 3M you can, but, I've gotten to like it. It really lays down really, really well. It's got a good adhesive, it's got a really solid tack to it. You know, when you lay it down, you're like, ooh, can I pick it back up? And it's, you know, it's hairy once in a while, but I've really grown to kind of put it on in the application of it. It's a little different, but.
Well, and I think too, you know, for us, I mean, if you used to walk through the media room, I mean, you know, every manufacturer, we're using them for certain reasons, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're using them all, even though we might have been doing Avery for so long that, I mean, we never talked that it's like, well, Orfolds, you know, 651 is all, it is nothing but, our racks are nothing but filled with that. And we're using that. And we're using, you know, Arlon, you know, for box trucks and signage and other stuff. So each one of them, I think, have their place and their price points that fit whatever the project, brings about, So, and I mean, that's probably the best part about, taking that classes, that I learned so much more about other films and wall and sidewalk and things that we just, we haven't dabbled in. We've stayed in our lane and done, signage and banners and vehicles now. And, and occasionally a customer will actually do something different. But I think, there's a place for all medias in different areas. But, the one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to have 55 different medias and 22 different lambs. And I just, we try to keep that to a minimum,
Yep.
I know our production manager is going nuts because we, when we prep all these classes, now we just print, stuff for classes and print a whole car that we wrap. And now he's printing 4 different films, changing the laminator
job.
4 different times. So he's having to print samples, print 4 different hoods, 4 different lambs, for each media. And so he's just like, I was like, man, I need to add one more in there. He's like, I'd be mad if I didn't have to change the laminator, but I've got that in the laminator right now, so we're good. Like,
yeah.
Even my production manager, is, shoot, he's busy. It's hard to get in, like, we're having to make him a list because it's hard to sneak in a little job or a little thing here and there because he's busy the whole day. The machines are running nonstop. The laminators, he's walking from one thing to the next. I mean, it used to be like, hey, can you do this one? And you could sneak something in every now and then. Now you're like, I will, but you're like, that's like 5 or 8 on my list.
Yeah, right?
So being sneaky with the job, they ain't working no more.
It's good. It's good and bad. I mean, at our shop, we've got 2 laminators. We've got 2 Royal Sovereigns, which one of them we just purchased a brand new one because the other one was about 10 years old and the rollers were warped already from years of laminating. So, yeah, crazy. So one laminator will have the gloss laminate for Avery 1105, and then the other one will have matte, because that's basically the only 2, forms of laminate that we use at our shop. We strictly Avery 1105. Sometimes we'll just use, sometimes we'll just run the Oracal with the corresponding laminate from Avery. We'll just blow it through. You know what I mean? You've seen so many people, warranty issues, maybe we might have an issue, but, we haven't had anything come back. But at the same time, we see so many laminates, crossing paths with different medias, where one's got like a sparkly look, like KPMF, for instance. They have so many different style laminates to give you different sheens and looks. So it's, to say that you can't use corresponding laminate with that media is kind of bogus. As long as they're both the same, calendar with calendar, cast with cast, you should be fine. But you always got that warranty issue later on down the road. If something was to happen, you're going to have to check out all those boxes and jump through hoops, because the first thing they're going to say is, what'd you print it on? Did you outgas it?
Yep.
What laminate do you have? What setting did you have for your print? It's just, you're going to jump through a lot of hoops.
I want that lot number. I hope you wrote that down on the job sheet.
Exactly. And we don't write any of that down. Zero.
You got everything, but I need that lot number. Is what I'm gonna need.
Dude.
All that other stuff's nice.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just all these little steps. Cause, and honestly, we're talking people who have high volume shops. Yourself, me, Casey, John Duver. These are things you're buying pallets of film. You have to keep these lot numbers because you're buying 10 kits a week. You're buying, 20 kits a month, whatever the case may be. You have to keep track of that shit, because if something comes back warranty wise, you got to be able to backtrack,
Well, I think it goes back to, scenarios and your process.
Yeah.
It goes back to, all right, well, what happened? I mean, so, when you say lot number and you think about that stuff, it's like, all right, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, we got production heating. They're like, oh yeah, we called. All right, we got a van that got into a wreck. All right, cool. Okay. What printer did we run that on?
Right.
We got three different ones. So now we're having to, our job sheets, we're having to dive in so much more. Okay, we're having to write that down. The other things that other people don't think about, we're writing down all of our specs of, all right, well, when we ran the driver's side, what were the rip measurements?
Right.
It was 52 tall by 210.06. All right, cool. Was it 300%? All right, it was on that printer. All right. Oh, we used some blue vinyl. Okay, well, what blue vinyl? Blue, reflex blue, ocean blue, sky blue, which one was it? So, I mean, we've gotten super meticulous of, Mikey won't even close a file out on the computer until he's written down all those measurements, written them on the artwork. Goes in a file cabinet, with, a sample of, whatever blue vinyl we got. And I mean, we've gotten in the habit too, Neil's made it a thing where he, says, okay, when we do production blue cut vinyl, it's production blue reflex cut vinyl. I mean, or Avery or 3M, like he'll write it like as the name of the file, like in the computer. Cause he's like, we're got to cut out the small things that we're having to spend time on. The customer's like, oh yeah, I'm going to drop that fan off. Cool. Go ahead and you can go. It's just a fender. Go ahead and run it ahead of time. And we're sitting there, all right, what measurement do we run it at? Can we just open the file? And can you just open the file and run it and crop out the fender? Like, yeah, we should be able to, so we just sorted that out years ago by just, it's all information and process of the same things that,
right.
How can we save time later, in the back end? All right, cool. I didn't want to go through and all right, now we're having to hold this swatch up to every color swatch we got. Well, which blue is that, So even though we had the blue swatch saved, there was no name on it, there was whatever. So,
right.
Just having to get more meticulous with, with the information that we're recording. So, and I think it's helped too, for sure. Especially 100%. With the 3 different printers.
Yeah.
Because now we're learning. We've had some weeks where now we've got, we got the Pro 3 Soldier, the Pro 4, and then the VG. And so, like 2 weeks ago, it was the week of the Pro 4. I was thinking, if we were smart, we could have lined up some vehicles, but every vehicle that was in that week, just by scheduling that we didn't even pay attention to, we're like, all right, in the morning meeting, we're like, all right, cool, what we got on deck? Okay, run it. Okay, that's on that printer. That's on that printer. That's on that printer. They're all on the Pro 4. Like, wait a minute. So, like, we're literally going to be waiting today, even though we have 3 printers, because we've already got the color dialed in for that customer. It came off that printer.
Right.
We can't run their van on a different printer. So, I don't know. To me, I see a new thing. I see a new scheduling challenge.
Do you
in the future?
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. Yeah, once you get more lined
better.
up. Yeah, it's
like a video game. Let's make it even more complicated. How do you get better?
Well, when you have multiple, I mean, I was going to ask you, do you name your printers? Do you have names for them?
Right now it's their model number, but they don't. I mean, maybe the guys have named them. I don't know.
That's funny.
We got the one that has a name, and it was Old Bessie. I know it's so country. I'm sorry. That was the original Pro 2 that we had from when me and Matt first opened in 2004, and I think we sold it like a year or so ago. But I'm gonna tell you right now, the workhorse.
Yeah.
The junior daddy right now is our Versacat, our little bitty 24-inch plotter that we've had since 2004.
Wow.
And that poor thing is still rocking. I'm thinking that is a true test to a rolling cutter.
Oh.
A 24-inch cutter. I mean, that thing's probably elderly. I mean, 2004. That thing. I mean, we're just like, all right. It doesn't like to do cuts over 8 foot. We're good, but we can cut both names until that thing smoke comes out of that thing.
Oh,
we won't retire it. It's just we're getting every penny out of that thing.
Oh yeah,
that thing's costing us like $4 a year now. We've had it so long. I mean, it's crazy.
That is awesome, dude.
Dude, it's crazy, man. I'm so happy. Maybe we should. Maybe this Christmas we'll add some WD-40 in there or something.
You got to give it a little lube.
It'll probably be happy. Like, I mean, it's got new, you get new wheels and new cutter strip and things like that. But
Yeah.
you're thinking inside that thing is probably ancient. I mean, some of those parts, if we touch some of the gears, they'll probably just disintegrate and turn to powder.
Dude, you just leave them alone. I've got an old Roland PNC 24 or something like that. Dude, the thing's a dinosaur. Yeah. It's like a little strip with an up and down, left and right arrow on it. Nothing crazy. Dude, that thing cut the balls. I would cut little tiny stickers out of that thing. Never would bat an eye. I knew for a fact I could cut that. And then I got a nice brand new $5,000 cutter from Suma, a D140, and I couldn't cut the same job on that. It would just rip it up, or the capability wasn't there to cut like a half an inch letter. I'm like, dude, if I had my Roland running, I'd have no issues right now.
Yeah.
I still got it. It's collecting dust up in the attic, but I won't let that one go.
You need to break it back down.
I think I might. Honestly, I think I might.
Like, you remember how we said we were going to let you go? I'm going to need you to come on back to work.
Yeah, dude. Come out of retirement. The thing sat in some guy's closet for like 15 years prior to me buying it. And then I had it. It ran my business for like 3.5 years. I ran so much work on it. I couldn't even tell you the amount of shit. Big paneled letters. I'd have to split the letters in half and put seams in them because I could only cut like 22 inches.
No.
You know what I mean? Just kind of asshole.
This is why you're so good.
Hey.
This is why you're so good.
Old school. That was the way.
Yeah. It's just like, you have no idea.
Try putting seams with pre-mask on. Then you know when you're good. Fuck that.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, man. Trying to register a bunch of letters with pre-mask? Dude. No thanks.
You're probably a beast now because of all those hard things you had to learn.
Dude, just you look back, you're like, why was I working like that? I could have been easily subbing that out, but I wanted to do it all in-house. Yep. But it is what it is. But you know what? Those types of things, taught me lessons in the process and how to do certain things. And honestly, you make do with what you had back then. I mean, I'm going probably 2006, 7, back then where, printers were pretty out there at the time, but cutters were the thing back then. I mean, if you had a 48-inch Roland, you were like, God, you were like, damn, dude, you got a 48-inch Roland? Damn. And those things weren't cheap back then.
It was like having a big screen, the projector TV back in the day.
Right. So, and you're buying 48-inch rolls of film. You're like, damn, you're balling. You know what I mean? Yeah. Trying to store those fuckers from falling on the floor all the time off the stands. Ugh. There was none of that shit that we had back then that we have now. We'd have to make, wooden stands to hold these rolls up.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I kind of been, I had a conversation with Jim Miller, and of course he's like, man, how did you get into it? And I was kind of talking to him about it, and he of course showed me a picture of, I guess his dad and him used to do the little Debbie trucks before there was even any kind of, I guess they probably were screen printed on some kind of vinyl back in the day.
Oh.
And got to talking about it, but I originally started as a sign painter.
Sign painter, nice.
Yeah, like in probably I'm dating myself now. Probably 2000. Let's see, 94. I don't know, out of the 96 range.
Don't lie.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
So, yeah, I know. I'm trying to, because I'm thinking, all right, I got out of high school, I went to college. That didn't go well. So probably 96.
Wow.
Was with one of the original old school sign painters in Louisville, Dave Clute. And learning how to, I still know to this day, but, learning how to paint 4x8 signs and learning how to hand letter with quills and one shot. And I remember when you were talking about that plotter, I remember him getting a plotter. And he's like, all right, well, we still got to paint the 4x8 sheets, but now we can cut out some lettering, stick it onto it. And I was thinking, all right, now we're getting there, and really thinking about the evolution of, of that and sign painting and, it's, I guess, this big old long journey all the way to now. Cause, I was thinking about it. I was like, the craziest part is my mom used to let me draw on my wall as a kid.
Wow.
I had one wall. She's like, oh, she knew I was into art. I've always been able to draw. I used to airbrush and do a lot of stuff. But as a young kid, I used to just draw on my wall, and I would stick stickers on my wall, and I had this big old long crazy, scene and mural and stuff in there, and glow in the dark stickers. And as a kid, you didn't think much of it, but I guess my mom was probably the first, letting me be the first legit graffiti artist in our house or something. And then I think it segues into me like making a living, like doing stickers.
Right.
It's kind of crazy.
Comes full circle.
Thanks, Mom.
She molded you.
So, yeah.
She knew something was going to, some type of artistry or some type of creativity was going to come out of, she saw it. And generally a lot of our parents would, foresee things like that, as opposed to pushing certain things that people, want to push on their kids. Hey, you got to be a doctor. You got to be a nurse. You got to do this. It's like, you know what? You kind of choose what you choose as you grow up, and things change, but your parents, that's awesome that she let you just full blown, here's your wall, do whatever you want to it, Yeah.
Well, she knew we could paint over it, but it seems to be the thing, because I keep telling my son now, he's 19, and I keep trying to really hammer this thing home. I'm like, you don't understand. I'm like the coolest dad ever. But for some reason, I've come across, I think he thinks I'm like Rick Moranis and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or some shit. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'm telling you, like, from 18 to 23 is kind of like, you're going to be trying to figure yourself out. Like,
right.
Go to college, do something, figure it out, or, go on your journey and figure out which kind of direction you're going to go in, but I think it's probably something, I just saw a video on it, today, and you've probably seen it, stuff circling on YouTube or Facebook, where they talked about, kids going in for a test, and the test setting the expectation of their life and what direction they're going to be going in. And I liked it because the video ended out saying look, the artist, if your son or daughter doesn't do well in math, maybe that's okay, because maybe they're meant to be a musician or an artist.
Right.
Or maybe the athlete is not going to do well in chemistry, or maybe, and so I thought that was so cool. Like, it kind of hit home where it's like, it's interesting how all this stuff, molds us and drives us in different directions, because, I mean, for as many sign jobs as I've had, from being a sign painter, I moved from that down to, I went downtown shortly after, and I learned how to do bronze plaques and signs and painting.
Wow.
Then from there, I spent some time at a company that just did reflective lettering, and all day long, all we did was pick out the NPR, the Isuzu logos. I mean, that was like 8 hours a day, like Isuzu logos, like sheets of Isuzu logos. And I was thinking, how many Isuzus are they making here? But
you're supplying the world.
Oh yeah, so there's like, all right, and so that honed in my master reading skills as a young guy, and that probably was like heck 97, 98, because then I think shortly after that, me and a friend of mine moved to South Florida, to Fort Lauderdale, and I ended up going to the Art Institute, so got a job immediately. And here's what was great, he's going to school to do CAD and do all kinds of things. I'm coming down there to get an art program for computer animation. And within a week, I had a job at a sign company.
Wow.
He was looking for like weeks, like really trying to find his way. And I'm thinking, boom, I was working at a sign shop like within a week,
That's awesome.
like already making the money. But, because of airbrushing and drawing, I fit in well there because we were doing sandblast signs. So I knew how to paint. I knew how to do stuff. I'm not sure it was the best for health reasons, but, good old silica sand for,
Yep.
for, to get you going right. And then I finished out, which I think ended up being what was like a segue for me, ended up being, a good sign shop owner and good boss, is that I spent, the rest of my time at the Art Institute, I spent at a shop, in Oakland Park, Gerard Signs. I spent there, and I spent years there. So I guess I was in South Florida from 98 to like 2002.
Wow.
But I mean, we did everything from vinyl to fleet lettering to, building aluminum signs for Nova University. But I remember, Richard was basically the designer business side, but Donna, I remember us doing some of the old school Red Bull vans. Big old 40, probably what you're talking about, 48-inch cut magenta vinyl. No aerograss, no nothing. Let's rock it out like the Europeans and just outside in the sun, maybe a little wetness to get us through some of it. But I think that's what really, kind of got me honed in on being used to, being better with vinyl later, because, think about it, you using your old plotter and seam and stuff and doing stuff. Well, heck, you already got it so dialed in because you had to do it the hard way. Now
Right.
when there's easier techniques and easier media, that allows you to, do things. So, I mean, I remember them stacking 3 different colors, stripes, it would be red, blue, and yellow on top, and they would go around the back of the van and drive the stripe straight.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's a skill. On top of
100%.
anything. So now, even to this day, when you're doing a wrap and you're just trying to walk it around the back to meet the back door of a van, I'm thinking, I've been doing this. This is only 1 layer.
Yeah,
We
right.
used to do 3 layers, of cut, non-aerograss, cut vinyl. Like this is, I was made for this.
Yep.
So, but yeah, man. So it's interesting, all the different things you learn that eventually mold us. I guess that's what I was trying to slowly get my son to understand. It's like, I don't even know if at 19 did I know what I was doing or where I wanted to go or be, or, so it's just crazy. Like, I'm telling you, it's okay to wander around and kind of find yourself, because I was doing it. I was just, and for so long, I think people just need to be told that it's okay to do certain things, because I think they try to please, they're trying to please their parents.
Right.
Or they're trying to please a girlfriend or a wife or somebody that, maybe that's the route that seems the best or that is the money making route, when really, if you're good at something and you're passionate, before you know it, it'll take off and that'll turn into something,
Yeah. Don't chase the money. I think chasing the money is the wrong idea, where can I work and make the most amount of money? But at the end of the day, as you get older, you start to realize, you know what? Money isn't the root of the happiness. It's being able to come in to a job or a career that you like waking up to, and not like, you just left an 8 or 10 hour shift and you come home, you having dinner, you're like, fuck, I don't even want to go to work tomorrow. It's like, why do you even put yourself in that position? You know what I mean? It's like, you are the only one that can make that change. The money might be good and you're making great money, but you're so miserable. So where's the missing link is, you have to do something that you're passionate about. And I think a lot of people find that out later in life, or they just go their whole life and never change. And like I said before in the podcast, where back then, a lot of our parents and whatnot had to take the shitty jobs and stayed at those jobs until they retired and never did anything for themselves, never did any career thing or built their own business, because that wasn't the thing back then.
For sure.
So you retire and you die, and that's it. You're never happy. So nowadays with technology and, just even talking about your son at 19, think about what you were doing at 19, right? And think how much better, and you can only think this because he's 19. He doesn't know what he wants to do. So just thinking in your mind, shit, if he gets this now, he could just be amazing at 25. Like amazing at 25 and just dominate, and it's just,
Yeah.
those are the types of things where you're just like, man, if you even knew what you had in front of you right now, whether you wanted to do it or not, just the opportunities you have now is just so great. And you can be
For sure.
right into business like that. Like you said, you moved down to Florida and bam, you had a job that week. There's no other career that you could be in and find a job that quick in a different location. I don't think anybody could do that.
Well, and, I think that, the thing that there is other people that already know it is, we're probably living in probably one of the craziest times and probably the best time ever. It's just, you can literally start up a business from your house. The internet has just allowed people you can sell just about anything, and so now to think, all right, cool. All right, well, what kind of sticker do you want to sell? Okay, well, we can do it. Or we'll only do motocross, or we're only going to do this. So, I think, I've got him at the shop now, and I think he's trying to find his way. I feel like it's the Karate Kid moment, where I'm pulling the Mr. Miyagi stuff and he doesn't get it.
Yep.
He doesn't understand yet what it will be. And so, I really, even after the 3M training, I came back and I was like, you know what, I'm kind of expecting a lot of him, and I'm expecting him to whatever, but I was like, you know what, I'm really just going to sit him down now. And even if I wasn't paying him, I'm going to sit him down, and every day, like when I go to do a job, I'm going to say, look, this is the reason why I'm doing it. Like the other day, I remember I was sitting down, I was like, look, I told you to find some names for this boat name, and he found some, and I was like, all right, look, but do any of them grab you? I was like, so if you're not feeling good about it, they're not going to do it. I was like, look, let me show you what I do.
Right.
And I really went through it. And it's the simplest step is like showing him how to pick fonts. Like, all right, cool. This is what they asked for, a bubbly kind of fun font. This one is. I already said, now look, here's the thing. These two I think they'll like. This one is the one I really like. And then I was like, sometimes you can kind of drive them in a direction. But there's no reason to put this one here because this one's too skinny. It's not going to work. So, and just the simplest stuff. So I'm kind of really like, all right, I'm going to do that. All right, we'll put it in here. Let me show you a couple different drop shadows.
Right.
Let me show you a couple of tricks of that. And then so now the next thing that I'm going to do is when that customer comes in, I'm going to say, look, I'm going to show you how I tell the story. And he's like laughed at me. I was like, no, look. I'm going to show him, like, look, here's the first design I came up with, and this is kind of what you asked for. But as I was messing with it, I came up with this other idea. So when I moved the name over here, I kind of moved this swoosh down, and here's some others. You didn't really ask for these. I think these are cool and fun. And, like, I think as you talk it out, artwork-wise, I think they get into it, and they think, because sometimes the customer's like, oh, I kind of want this. I mean, they kind of think they know what they want. And so you kind of show them one that they think and one that maybe you think. And then sometimes I go off left field and say, man,
yes,
like, I'm just saying this here could work too, but this one's kind of extreme and kind of crazy. And before you know it, they didn't even realize that can be done. And I'm really digging that because this one was kind of plain. So if I'm going to cover it, let's get crazy, And so I think it's kind of the phases that I'm going to start to kind of do with him, is slowly showing like, all right, because I sent him out today. I was like, look, go measure this job. I want you to measure, because I had him measure a sign, and we printed it out. And I went over and put it on. I was like, all right, dude can measure a box. Because step one achieved. We can't go wrong there. So now let's slowly move on. But I'm going to tell you what's crazy, man, is, each summer he would come in, and I let him mess around in the summer and play with. But I threw him on Flexi sign, and, he jumped in there, and it's like a video game to him. He's like, all right, dude, where's the tool? I was like, look, I need you to trace around. And I had to show him at first, like, look, here's the nodes. The less nodes you have, the better. Click 1, 2, 3, you're going to make that one a curve. But don't click 4 for a curve. You want 2 and then make a cool little arch. So I kind of went through that a little bit. I mean, dude, it was like no time. And like, he's like just cruised right through it like it was a video game.
Yep.
And to me, for the first time ever, I mean, for years, when he was growing up, kids play games too much. They ain't on the computer too much. I'm sitting there thinking, finally, for sure. I'm so happy that I let him because he is way more in tune now to deal with technology and like multitask.
Right.
I mean, dude, it's like design, man. He's got YouTube on in his ear. He's doing something else. I mean, he's got like 2 or 3 things going on. I think there's no way, I can listen to music and design, but I mean, he's listening to some other dude talk while he's designing, and he's got playing gorillas and this and that. So I'm very proud of the musical influences I've had on him. But, it's interesting to just see the multitasking part.
Yeah.
And only at 19, I'm thinking, man, I was like, if I could just find, cause and I was like, man, like, you need to do college, dude. Like, and here's the thing, isn't this what's crazy? So, all our life, we're taught that. Okay, you gotta go to college. All right, so I did. I went to college. I did art institute.
Yeah.
Got a degree in computer animation. Cool.
Wow.
Am I in animation?
Nope.
No, I'm not. But at that era, when I graduated from art institute in 2002. So when I graduated, it was like, all right, that's New York or California. And
right.
because of family, we moved back because of family. So if I was smart and I was, thinking, I mean, don't get me wrong, it made me a better artist. It's probably why my art is better to these days because, I had those anatomy classes. I had 3D classes, 3D Studio Max and I had all those classes. So it made me better, but at the same time too, it's like maybe I should have got in multimedia. I could have did audio and sound and lighting, but whatever it may be, I just think, it's interesting,
the path
just because you didn't expect it. So I think that's what I'm, hoping for him because it's just like, man, you got to do college. He's like, Dad, like, I just don't want to waste the money. Like, all right, cool. I respect you for even having that know-how, but I was like, man, like, you kind of want more for him. But I was like, look, this is this box here is the only stuff that I know. But like, you could be at college, you could be with the next dude that creates the next program. We don't know what the possibilities are nowadays because I'm stuck in my same, gig that I've been doing forever, where
right.
like even just when I talk about Photoshop, the Photoshop moves and tricks that I've been doing, those are the same 4 or 5 tricks that we've been doing for years, and unless you don't take a new Photoshop class, which I'm glad I did, I took one 4 or 5 years back and it definitely helped, but there's a new Photoshop every year. It's like, dude, like, all right, I got to learn a new box with new settings, new handles, new
right.
settings within settings within settings. So to me, that's what I was just thinking about. It's just like, he's like, no, he's like, Dad, I'll just do what you do. And I'm like thinking, one half of me wants to be happy that he says that. The other half, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to use this as a transport for him to figure out. All right, I'm going to do this for a bit, get his hand in design, and then maybe it'll spawn into something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
it's not that I don't want him to take over, but at the same time too, you just want him to be like, you want more. And so I'm not saying this ain't enough because we're, you make a good living and we're happy and life is comfortable at the moment.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He can carve his own
Bentleys
piece.
or mansions or anything by having a sign company.
Yeah. Right.
But we're happy. Just saying to you, you got a daughter, right? Yeah.
I got two daughters. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. I mean, everybody's happy. Everybody's good. Health is good. Soccer practices, whatever it may be. So I think it's if this is what it is, because really it's all about time, right?
That's it. That is definitely it. And him being smart enough to know that a decision, making that decision to go to college, whether it be, a 2-year program or a 4-year program, and knowing that, that might not be the route. Cause, you hear it all the time. I mean, I listen to Andy Friselis a lot. I listen to Ed Milet, and a lot of them, they advertise the college thing, and then they kind of don't advertise the college thing, because a lot of them went to college and then dropped out and then started these multi-million-dollar companies. So, at the end of the day, I think maybe not going to college could be a good thing, but at the same time, you have to have a good mentor. You gotta be able to lean on somebody, ask questions to somebody, in that avenue you want to pursue. Just like a lot of us, like yourself, you had a mentor when you first had started hand painting. You couldn't have picked up a brush and figured out, okay, yeah, I'm just going to dip it in one shot and stick it on. No, you need to learn the right mixture between one shot and then thinner to make sure to get the right consistency and put a little bit of clear in it and all that. Like, you needed to apprentice. You needed to have that guidance. And I think now a lot of that old-timey stuff is kind of
died a little bit. There's not a lot of people going out and getting internships or apprenticing as much. I almost consider what we do almost like being a tattoo artist. Like, you got to get somebody in, you pay them a couple bucks, but what they're gaining in knowledge is worth way more than what they're getting in a paycheck. Like, I'm setting you up for the rest of your life. You're going to take this avenue, and whether you stick with me or you go somewhere else, you're able to apply what you've learned through me showing you to any other business that you work for and be an asset and I don't think there's anywhere else where, you could make, as a really good installer, you could probably make, I don't know, 20, 25 bucks an hour being an installer, per job.
Mm-hmm.
Where can you go if you know how to lay down vinyl and make that much money right off the gate? Not a lot of places,
Well, and I think too, some of the things I had to explain to the guys years ago, because essentially, at our company, there's 9 of us right now.
Wow.
And I feel like there's front of the house and back of the house.
Yep.
The front is design, sales, and then production. And, it's kind of like a restaurant, you know what I mean? But that's what I had to, I've had installers leave years ago, and, the little ego thing is something, because we can't help it, boys or girls, no matter what, but, we're competitive by nature.
Right.
And I think what it is that, I had installers leave before because they wanted to do a color change,
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to be stuck doing commercial and things like that. And I had several things I had to explain is, one is, you're not understanding that, I've got Daryl over here and he's on color change, but he's on it for 4 days.
Right.
You know what I mean? Really dialing it in. And you've knocked out 4 partials in the amount of time that he's done 1 car. So actually you've made more money for us than he has.
Mm-hmm.
But not even that. Like, I had to, I think what happens is accidentally, as installers don't realize that, like, by working here, I'm not saying we're the Taj Mahal or anything, but we have so many cars coming through that the thing you're getting is the nonstop practice of variables.
Right.
You get a van to a boat to a golf cart to this to a scooter to, and so the practice that you're getting from all of the different scenarios that you're facing is actually what's making you better. But the thing is that you have to be careful and keep the ego in check, because I think when they're back there and they're really installing and, and if they're not being paid well, I mean, who knows? There's different variables across the U.S., but, if you got as far back as I'm doing this rapping, I know they're selling for $3,000 or $4,000, and I'm doing all these thinking, man, that's not it though, dude. You got to understand, this is like a well-oiled machine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, first Matt and Neil got to convince the guy to spend the money.
Right.
Then we got to get it. The designers have to get their part. And I said, the thing is that, the stress just kind of gets passed around. The stress that they have to get it in. The designers have to get it. All right, the vehicle's here. Now they got to get things out. Now the stress gets passed to the production manager. He's got to get it printed, laminated, get it back to y'all. And then now you guys only got 2 days to whatever get done. But, this is a well-oiled machine. So it just kind of gets passed around. But, just be careful, because, some installers, if they're not careful, and I think there's a few that's left, where they just, they do everything and then they go off and they want to do it on their own, and then they don't realize, it's like, dude, it took us 10 years to get this customer base. It took us this long to get this process dialed in. Just because you can rap doesn't mean you can step out and be a great businessman or woman, whatever it may be. And even for me, I know my traits. I know I need Matt and the rest of the team, because I'm great at coming up with ideas and art, and I'm a great installer and all that. But I mean, man, the business side and some other stuff, like, I need help with, and I'm sure, other businesses are the same way. But I just think it's the same way, for installers. You just gotta, just realize it takes front of the house too to sell the job. It takes the production manager to be able to get it back onto the table so that you can even put it on.
Right.
But there's so many steps that happen. I mean, I feel bad for Portland. He answers the phone so much all day long that you're just thinking, I'm glad I didn't get it good at answering the phone.
That's funny.
You got to be careful. Hey, Jim, it's a running joke around the shop. Right now I tell them, you got to be careful of getting good, because when you're good, that means you got to stay after.
Yeah, that's it.
So when I say, man, you're the best at that, they're like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. They're like, no, you messed up. You're the bumper guy now. You do bumpers, you're badass.
That's
You're
funny.
no bumpers now. So that's me. Like, my son, I was like, you're smart. You're getting good at those air conditioned jobs, being there on the computer, enjoying the AC, enjoying some tunes, not out on your hands and knees, crawling under a car. So, but, he enjoys it, but man, it's been a fun, crazy little journey. I'm proud of the team and how far we've come, man. I could never imagine just being that,
well,
turning it into this, and you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, man. It's just, the years, fly by and people come and go, and, you're able to reflect back now, 10 years later, 15, whatever the case may be, and look back and be like, damn, we kind of made it through the good times, through the bad times. We stuck together, and here we are now. We've got a good client base, a loyal client base, and, we're providing for not only, our families, but for other people's families. And, I always think that that's always a big, that's a big thing. That's a great accomplishment, to be able to provide for other people's families. And we always say, rap family and all this and all that. But, when you're able to provide for the guys and girls that work for you, that have children too, and, and we're all doing the same thing and being in a well-oiled machine, I mean, that speaks volumes. Nine people isn't something to bat your eye about. 9 employees, that's 9 lives that you're responsible for, to bring in work, to seal those deals for those big contracts, because that puts bread on the table for everybody. That's a big nut to have, and to think about, because I'm sure there goes weeks where, you or Matt don't get paid, but the employees get paid, and not a lot of people see that, especially in the beginning stages. You gotta pay everybody else before you even see a dime, and those are the sacrifices you have to make, and you have to be okay with that, because that's part of the process. And I feel like people just think they get into it. They're like, yeah, I'm going to make $5,000 a week. No. You're not going to make $5,000. You'll be lucky if you make 500, It's crazy.
That's for sure. Well, I think that's probably the scariest part, It's just taken us this long to grow, but each time, you add somebody because the workload's there, and, we were at 10 and actually dialed it back because we had finally hit that teeter-totter moment where, we had such a line, week, 2 week, 3 week, sometimes a month line, and we're thinking, we just can't get it out fast enough. All right, we need another installer. Mm-hmm. And it always made me super nervous because, dude, I'm in a sense kind of toying with somebody's life, their financial side of their life. And it's like, all right, we're going to be able to do this. Oh, okay, we're slow again. Oh, I got to let you go. Like, I didn't want to do that.
Right.
So I've had people at our shop before where, like, even when it got slow, like, look, I don't, you're here, it's fine, it's a little slow, whatever it may be, but I don't care if you, take every screw out of or every socket out of the toolbox and wipe it off and put it back in. As long as you're moving, I don't care if you're wiping down the ladder, but I want to see you moving. As long as you're moving, I'll pay you.
Right.
So it's always been a thing, but, we dialed it back, and we found that 9 is a good number that's good and steady and constant for our area and our customer base. That, the craziest part about this industry versus, like, let's just say if you owned a storage unit company, right, you got X amount of storage units, cool. You know what you're going to make each month.
Right.
It's Zoom. All I got to do is rent this many. All right, cool. Here's how much I'm going to get. And you can start to project. Well, I think with this industry, the only thing that it's feast or famine sometimes, and right now, at any given time, we can have 10, 15, 20, 30 artwork jobs out, like where we've done it, we've designed it, we put it in their hands and they're just stewing on it. They're looking, they're trying to figure it out. Some of them, they haven't got, they're waiting for the vehicle. I mean, but then it's like all of a sudden, all right, cool, 5 of them are ready. All right, we're ready to go. Can we get it by Friday? So it's this feast or famine thing. So it's the only thing that I think is difficult about this is the projection part of, how much are we going to make this week or how much are we going to make this month? Because you never know, because it could be a food truck, 2 or 3 parcels and maybe a color change. And then next week it's a big boat, a box truck, and then some signage and some banners. I mean, it's never, you can't look at it and say, all right, well, we're definitely going to make 10 grand every week, or 25 grand or whatever it may be.
Right.
I think it's probably the only tough part is the projection of, of the jobs, because it varies so much. So that's where the dicey part of, bringing people on and what can you pay people? Because, forever, and I think this is probably a good discussion probably anybody could have is, how are people paying their employees? Do they pay them commission? Well, some pay them commission, some pay them hourly. All right, cool. Well, when you pay hourly, well, what do you do when it gets slow?
Yeah.
If you're paying them to be a top-notch rapper and then your workflow falls off a little bit, all right, well, cool. Now you're paying $25 an hour to weed a sign.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sucks.
Like it has to be, but and we've tried to balance it a little bit too, where we still pay our our guys, and then let's just say paint protection, they're still getting paid their hourly rate, but when they do paint protection, and I was doing it with Daryl, there's a certain amount of stress that goes with it. So to me, there's a bonus to be given. You get that car on successfully and get it on and it leaves and there's no little hoo-ha's and whatever and no comebacks, and there's a bonus. You know what I mean? And so I think that creates drive. So I could see where the commission thing could work for some, but then again, what if the workflow ain't there? It seems to be a thing where I think is definitely, up for discussion. It'd be interesting to see if you had a consensus across the board, across the U.S., obviously different markets are going to pay differently. What is it really? What's the best avenue to keep people happy? Because, essentially that's what it is, isn't it? If we're making money, you want your employees to make money too. You don't want to be sitting there cruising around in a big fat car and then they're over there and they're hardly able to eat lunch. You know what I mean? That's not, you're never going to make it. So I don't know. It ends up becoming like a family because, we spend 8 hours a day together and you go home and maybe have 4 or 5 hours with your family, maybe before bedtime,
Right. 100%.
So,
100%. Yeah. That's a lot of what ifs for sure. And it's, do you 1099, your so-called subs instead of having them on the payroll and having that burden of having to have them on when things are slow. When things are great, nobody's saying shit. Everyone's hunky-dory, fucking shops cranking, music's blaring, everybody's happy, but then you get that slow week where things kind of die off, and then what? You're kind of stuck with the nut, and it's like nothing's going on. Well, how are we going to pay them? 1099ing is good. Having subs is good for installers, as long as they're certified and, they have all the credentials for an installer. That's always good. That's kind of what we do. We know we can't do everything in-house. We know we can't. So there's 2 huge install companies here in Massachusetts that we, just flow work to. Hey, why do everything in-house? Why do we have to?
Yeah.
We'll do all the repairs in-house and then all the super intricate, smaller projects in-house. The rest of the shit,
that makes sense.
We'll sub it out. It's good. Everybody's making money.
Yeah.
The workflow's there. One, we're able to create more volume because we're able to take more work in, and nobody really says anything. We probably average, a few wraps a day, give or take. Between them and then a couple smaller intricate jobs. I letted 6 vehicles the other day, and we probably had 5 wraps out to get done that day. It's a good day, don't get me wrong, but if we were trying to get all that workflow into our shop, would have been a mess. That's 2 weeks worth of work. You know what I mean? For some shops, we're creating this workflow in each and every day we're trying to create that. And, you know, I think you gotta know your market, like you said, and you can't predict tomorrow. It's kind of like you could get a phone call tomorrow and bam, you got 50 pickup trucks to get wrapped for a huge fleet. It's like, oh, wasn't expecting that. But then again, what do you do when you don't have that well-oiled machine? Like, everybody's stressed out. How are we going to get it done? This, that, and the other thing. And, that's a tough nut. I mean, you have to make that jump. If that's your end goal, to be high volume, you know, production, commercial shop, that's where you have to strive to. And whatever you got to do to get there, you can't be afraid of it. Not every week's going to be a loss, but not every week's going to be a win. And I think you got to take the good with the bad. And I think as a business owner, you have to be able to take the good with the bad in those types of scenarios. You know, some weeks are home runs, some aren't, and that's just the way the name of the game goes. But, you know, it's more on the positive side than it is on the negative side.
Yeah.
You got to look at it. Yeah.
Well, and we've had some, you know, students come through, you know, the rap class, and sometimes I get a little concerned because, you know, usually everybody's throwing down and practicing, and every now and then you'll see somebody else to the side and you're like, you know, you want to lay a hood, you know, there's something I can help you, you know, because I always try to engage them. You know, every now and then you'll have a couple hanging back and you're thinking, all right, am I not showing them attention? Is there something I need to be doing? Maybe try to get them engaged. And I've had a few that, you know, say, no, you know, I'm the owner of the company. I was here. And he's like, you know, I just want to kind of see what's going on. And I know this isn't for me. I'm probably going to sub this out. And so to me, you probably hit, you know, head on the nail that, you know, some of them know, you know, because there's some people that get into this and I'm thinking, you know, you're prepared, like your knees and back are going to be beat.
Right.
Like, you know, like, are you really want to get into this market right now knowing that, you know, I don't think it's hard like jackhammering or digging holes or anything like that, but you definitely, sometimes I feel like even when we go to the sign shows and stuff, I'm thinking, all right, I'll do 3 little sides on a car, 3 little partials, like, no big deal. It's like sometimes it's mentally, you know, you know, just standing or whatever it may be, you know, so sometimes I think there's a little bit more mental into it, but I mean, heck, as much crouching, I think it's like doing like yoga sometimes. Like we're in the craziest positions.
Yep.
I chose are the most flexible toes ever because how many crouch positions we get into, ramps or not ramps. You know, you're getting on, you're down, you're sideways, you're on your back, you're getting up under, you're under the bumper, now you're crouched over, you're leaning, you know, I think there's about 400 different ramp positions that you can get into just to try to complete a car. And I'm thinking, yeah, it's you better be prepared for it, you know.
we should start a yoga class specifically for wrap installers. Wrap yoga.
Get them broken.
Could be a new thing. Believe it. You know, you gotta, how many, I was just thinking about like how many times you get up off the floor and you just you fucking yard sale everything in your bag. Like your knife falls on the floor, your fucking air release falls on the floor, your squeegee falls. Oh,
I mean, even some of these time-lapse videos that I see of cars, I'm thinking, did you see that? Like, it's like ants attacking the side of this car here. You know?
Oh, yeah, don't let anybody fool you. If you think rapping is easy and not hard work, you got something coming to you. Oh,
yeah, it definitely gets you sometimes.
Yeah,
but I still enjoy it. Like I like getting in the back and doing stuff. So I think I'm pretty lucky to have the freedom to, you know, design. And then if I have to get out in the back to help the guys and kind of, you know, get us out of a rut or just, you know, jump in on a vehicle and help them, I still like it and enjoy it. You know, I think it's anything. It's just like riding a bike. You know, it's like practice no matter what.
Yeah,
and that's one thing to know it and teach it, but still, I still think you got to be dialed in and throwing down on a daily, you know, 100%. Or it would show. I think so.
Is that, so do you think installing, is your most favorite thing to do, or do you like designing more often? Like if you had to choose one side of the industry to do every day, what would it be?
Well, to me, I think the designing part is where I'm going to shine the most because it's what's going to make me different than everybody. Because I can install, but I don't know if I'm doing anything amazing that anybody's going to be like, oh man, like, you seen he was like standing on one hand and did the bottom of that bumper, like, that was cool. But like a lot of my art, I can draw, I can do stuff, I've got a good eye, I know shading, I know 3D, like, and I've some crazy ideas, and if I don't, I just put on some techno or something and, get myself in the zone. But it's probably my favorite part now is knowing that, because a lot of times now, the guys in the back are definitely handling stuff so much now that, and we've got a couple different flavors. Obviously Matt designs different. We just brought on Morgan. She designs different than me and Matt. And, I end up doing a lot of the crazier Photoshop stuff, a lot of the, more hand-drawn stuff or things where we got to go a little more intense with the theme, So I know what happens is that sometimes I'm like, all right, I'm going to design it so crazy. Like, I'm going to push this to where, well, and if we wrap both sides and we make it go around, then I can dial in the back. We can make this thing like really travel all around from panel to panel. But then I find myself going in the back like, all right, this has to go on just like this because here's how I've designed it. So both sides have to fall into the same spot here because this is what I got set up. So yeah, I think the funnest part for sure now is is the art side of it, But when I sit back and think of the art now, and now you think about it, it's a game changer. It's just like music. It wasn't about it. It's not about just doing some crazy shadowing and making it travel around.
Right. Now
people are using different finishes. They're throwing reflective into the game. Now it's gloss, matte, then some reflective overlay, then some this, some that. I'm thinking, man, now I'm sitting there and like, now there's so many palettes, it's like music, there's not just hip hop anymore.
No.
It's not just house music or techno, now it's rap, now it's trap, it's ghetto, it's bass, it's techno, it's all kinds of stuff into one thing. So there's not even a genre anymore. And I think it's same thing when I start thinking about design. I'm like, rapping is like, all right, now when I go to, all right, I'm going to do my truck. I can do whatever I want. And you draw a blank.
Yeah.
Like, dude, all right, what am I going to do? Am I going to do some reflective? All right, I'm going to do a crazy, I'll do gloss and I'll do a matte finished hair. No, I already did that. Right, so I think I've done it so many different ways, and now I'm like, all right. And so, that was probably the best part. I know you didn't do the SEMA run this year, right?
I didn't, unfortunately.
Your little plane phobia. You better start now about midsummer and just do a bike tour all the way across, and then you'll get there by the time October. But, I went there this year, and I was like, dude, this is the thing. There's the dopest paint jobs and some of the best wraps, that you can see. That's the time to go. And I was like, man, I'm going to go out there and I'm just going to be inspired. I'm just go and I'm just going to look at color and just look at things so that when I come back and I can like, all right, your mind's like filled with all kinds of just, art from just so many different angles. Yeah, for years when we used to go to SEMA early on, I always thought the dopest paint jobs were the guys that followed the right body line. It could be just two colors, but they would follow the right body line, and you're like, dude, why is it so fresh? It's like, dude, because he followed the right line. And he's got a little accent on the rim. And so then now, and the part that amazed me is because, we went out early, man. I don't know. How did that look? Like, what was it, 2004, 2009, somewhere in that area? We went out and did the West Coast Custom Experience. We actually went out to SEMA with Roland and Orifol.
Wow.
And we were so early to the game, nobody got it. Like,
really?
We were there, and we were like, yeah, like there's a sprinter, and you can put it on there. And we were doing a Mini Cooper, we went all out for the exotic car. So, hang on to your seats.
Hey, that's a hard car to wrap,
dude,
man.
We were doing this Mini Cooper, and people were like coming up. They're like, oh yeah, like it's cool. We're like, yeah, like this, and they're like, okay, I want to buy it. And they're like, No. Like, you got to buy the printer, and then you got to learn design, and then you got to do this shit, and then you got to put it on yourself. And they're like, so like, it was too early. Yeah. It was just too early. And then now, the thing that made me most proud is like, dude, you go out there now, man, what percentage is not a rap?
I know.
Dude, I mean, what is it, 60% of raps now? I mean, I don't know, but like,
I think this year was
dude, I went around
huge.
there and it's like,
yeah.
I mean, what car didn't have a rap? I mean, so now it was like, remember the era where like, man, is that paint or is that a rap? Now I think it's the other way around. It's like, is that paint?
Yeah.
That could be a rap. There's some people throwing down that they can really put some shit on where like, they're tucking that shit so far back in there, you're like, shit, yeah. I can see an edge. That definitely, all right, well, they can't paint that kind of finish. All right, so that's a wrap for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there is some where you're just like, dude, like, what? And then, you know, right now, dude, I'll tell you, it got me on my feet is OKC folk, dude.
Yeah.
Printing on that white aluminum, I'm just like, dude, it looks like candy stuff. Like, even just seeing them, I tell you, him and Phil and Jamie were throwing down on, I don't know, I'm not a car guy. I don't know what I don't know if it was I-8 or whatever it was. It was a fresh car, but dude, it was like he printed on some white aluminum. He had a brushed metal effect on it, and it looked fresh. And I'm thinking sometimes, you know, simple is what I was sitting there thinking, man, that's where it is. You know, and even Shane, you know, his big truck, you know, the big truck, Shane and Gecko, printing on green.
Yeah.
And getting a totally different, like, candy kind of feel. And I'm just like, man.
Printing on 1080.
All right, so then now when it's time to sit down with your own car, you're like, all right, I can turn on some aluminum, I can turn on the reflective. Like, what's my theme? What's the basis? What's the, you know, what's that beginning? Because most of the time the customer does that for us.
Right.
You know, they come in like, dude, I want some crazy, I want, you know, a dragon busting out of a brick wall or whatever it is. And you're like, oh, I can do that. We're going to do this. And so, you know, they help us do that. But I think when it's our own car, you're like, all right, what can I do?
Too many options.
Man, it's just the palette the palette has been, you know, definitely raised, you know.
Well, the reason why the palette's big is because you know how big the palette is. When a client comes in, they're just like, hey, I'm thinking X, can you make this work? And you're like, yeah, no problem, you know?
For sure.
It's just
Kevin
crazy.
did it to me too. You know, Kevin, his little stripe that he just did on the truck, super clean, not a whole lot on it, printed on the tail lights,
clean,
Red Bull shocks. I mean, I'm just like, dude,
you can't get any cleaner than that. He went back old school with that stripe, with the print inside of it, with the crazy rims cut out to make it look like blades, dude. He's like, and then he took, I think he printed on either clear or he printed on the Lux Auto Tint. Printed his logos on that and stuck that on. Dude, come on, man. Like, is there anything you can't do, bro? Like,
come on, man.
Seriously. Come on. So where do you get these ideas?
That's why I said, when you think about it, if you took, you know, everybody that we're inspired by, you could almost make an encyclopedia.
Right.
Of rap effects and techniques and things. Like, it would be crazy cool to see, but, you know, it's just so many different styles. It's interesting. I don't know. They got me where I'm like, all right.
Where do I start?
I'm at to go back to the back cave and dig deep, you know?
Yep. Yeah.
So.
Oh, dude, it's just, this industry is just amazing. The amount of things that we can do technology wise and just being creative is what it's all about. At the end of the day, it's just an extension of us is all it is, you know, just as much as the clients we try to please. It's more about our brand, you know, because it is our artwork. And it's a great feeling to see our artwork not being stationary. This artwork that we produce is mobile. It's so many eyes seeing it per day, per hour. And, it's a great feeling. I always love seeing our work, whether it's going down the freeway and you see a job that you just did or a job you've done years ago, still looking fresh, still making money for that client. And it's a good humbling feeling because at the end of the day, okay, we get paid for the job, but they're getting the satisfaction tenfold because they're creating impressions that in turn turns into revenue for them. So I always tell people, man, the amount of money you're spending on a rap, you're going to make way more money on that rap than I will ever make. And people are like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, you could leave my shop. You know, you spend $3,500, you could leave my shop and make a $10,000 job in, you know, a couple minutes. Someone calls you, boom, it's a $10,000 job. Like, you just made $7,000 more than what you spent. And and that's one day.
Yeah.
Figure that for the life of the rap, you know, 3 to 5 years. You're going to see way more money coming out of that truck than I will ever. So consider it an investment, you know?
Yep. No, I agree there.
It's crazy. Unreal. I can't believe 2 hours went by that fast.
Yep. We didn't even talk about techno either.
We didn't. And that was, I've got a couple lists here, you know, I see you throwing it in about the techno and DJ. I want to talk about it. That's a whole nother realm.
I was sneaking it on you. No. We'll save it for another day.
No, let's not save it. Give the people what they want. Give the listeners what they want.
Well, look, I'll say this. I am thoroughly happy and pleased that friends in the rap industry get on my little DJ show. The joke is, I say it. It's like I say, whenever I don't do a show on a Friday night, I say, oh, well, I don't mean to upset all four of you, but, you know, I'm not doing my show on Friday, right? And some people laugh about it because, you know, I don't know. It's one of those, like, man, I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
And it's just something that I like. And I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Like, really, when you think about it, man, there's a few people that do get into house music and techno stuff. And what got me thinking about it is, the best thing that I love about these podcasts that I think you're doing that kind of, you know, brings a lot more to light, gets you way more personal. You know, I always talk to Steve Carney, super cool dude, super nice.
Yeah.
But the conversations that you have with him, like diving deep into the breakdance and background and stuff, it can just let you know a little more about people. You know what I mean? And so I was like, man, I didn't even know. Like, he's like for real, like pure blood, like B-boy, like,
yeah.
That's just, you know, like he was in it. Like he had gear, he had a cruise, like, oh man, like, you know, so, I mean, I don't know, kind of the same thing. You know, I do that thing, like, so what episode is this for you right now? Do you know, like, what number you'll be on?
92.
Man, that's what I'm saying. And see, look, nobody knows, so Friday was my 176.
Wow.
2-hour DJ set that I've been doing, like, dude, I was doing it out of my basement, out of my house. This radio station, soulfulvibe.com, DJ Rick, cool dude in Jersey. I just so happened to send somebody on Facebook, and I sent in a mix. They were like, oh, like, right, we'll just pick a day and the time that you want to play. And so I did it. And like, look, here's the thing. Like, in the beginning, I was like, I'd log on, do my stuff, go live, and I'm sitting there, is one person listening or is 1,000 people listening? I had no idea. But that's the cool part of the mystery.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that nobody knows. Like, whether anybody gets on there to listen, it doesn't bother me. The whole thing is, it's like, man, it's like practice.
Right.
One, I'm being recorded. I'm recording myself live. So I'm trying not to make mistakes. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I guess the thing is, I talk with my girlfriend about it a lot, is that I'm trying to realize that what is it that I want out of it other than I enjoy it. I'm not trying to be a famous DJ. I just enjoy, like, all week long, stress, doing our thing. I pick out some tunes. I listen to them all week long in my truck. Then on Friday night, I get up like a video game and I play these 25, 35 tunes and I try not to make mistakes. And I just think it's like my video game, my, like, audio, like me painting with sound. You know what I mean? And people look at it as button pushing, and that's fine, but, like, try it. Let me give you a couple songs and see. Let's see them shoes in the washer. That's not really happened. Because it took me years to be good at it. But, like, I started, like, so when I went to, like, in 98, I learned about the rave scene and did a whole bit. Like, on my way to the Art Institute, we stopped at a club. and I'm going to throw a name at Firestone in Orlando. Classic milestone, like it's a historical spot, you know, and learned and saw my first, you know, DJs doing their thing, and I came back and then followed the rave scene, you know, from Chicago, Detroit techno, you know, the scene around here, and so forever, and like I was vinyl forever. You know, and eventually, and I've seen the era change from vinyl to CD. So essentially what's happening now is that after vinyl started to die out, and like it didn't die out. There's just less and less record stores where you could get select tunes. And so CDs took over. And then eventually Serato took over, where now it's laptop and controllers and things like that. And so I'm still trying to stay in that craft of I'm still mixing with my ears. I get up with a couple CDs, some beats. I'm throwing down in my house. I mean, it's banging. You know, I'm having a good time on Friday night. My son's in the other room, and he's like, I'm like, all right, I'm going to play tonight. He's like, yeah, Dad. He's like, all the guys, and then, you know, in the D&D group, they like your music. I'm like, well, okay. He's like, yeah, because I guess when he's in his room, he can hear it through the wall, you know.
Right.
So his friends can hear it, but I'm just like, man, I'm like, it's like surfing.
Yeah.
You know, I finally got good at it, and now I can ride the wave, and I can ride it longer, and now I can get creative and blend songs longer, and man, I'm just having a good old time. I'm like, nobody knows what the fuck is going on. They just looking at me punch some buttons and shit because I'm not doing some scratching and spinning and throwing fire on the turntable or something. Like, it just doesn't look that fucking exciting, but it's like a movie, man.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like, if you get on and you listen to me for 5 minutes, like, oh, cool, all right, cool.
Dude, I love it.
That's not my thing. No, it's all good. So, you know, to me, but it's like a movie. You know, if you listen to the whole shit, you know what I mean? Like, it's a full, like, I spend, like, all week long, like, going through songs and, you know, setting out a set and building the BPM and building the story, and I always have an ending. And so, to me, I guess I'm preparing myself for the, you know, for the DJ set that may never happen, or either it worked out when, you know, when we went out to Shane's and threw down, we had some fun there. But I mean, you know, it's just fun for me on that Friday night. You know what I mean? Where I can do it. And here's the thing: any rapper and anybody gets on there and they hang more than 4 or 5 minutes, thank you. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Because everybody gets on there. The poor old Ruggs, he gets on there, and then Lewis and Rick Fedor and a few of them, they're gonna be like, Ruggs, you supposed to be in bed right now.
It's like, aren't you supposed to be prepping for the week? But you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? At the end of the day, it's your decompression of a hard week's worth of stress. That's your decompression. That's your Zen moment where you can just take 2 hours out of your day and just have fun. And you spare no expense on everything. You have lights. You've got you've got everything going on this whole scenario, which is unreal.
I gotta pretend like I'm in a club and getting to there. Happens, you know?
That's the way that's the way you prepare yourself. So when you do have to step onto that stage and deliver, you're used to the darkness with the lights, because that is a hard thing to do. Even though you press the buttons, you know how quick you could press the wrong button because it's dark out and the light's not hitting the right spot where you got to hit the button, and you kind of got to pregame it. You're like, whoa, should I put my finger on it just in case I can't see it later? Or, you know, there's a madness to what you do, man. And much respect to that, because it is, I know for sure, I've had TJ friends in the past, and I've sat behind that booth, you know, old school, when it was just records and you had to, like, you know, slow down the beat to get the same beat from the track you got playing. When you blend it, it doesn't sound like you just threw it in there and you just jumped right into the next song. Dude, there's a whole, I know it. It's crazy. And much respect to you for doing that, and creating a story is key. A beginning, a middle, and an end. People don't understand there's a process to get to people to dancing and getting on the stage and enjoying themselves from start to end. It's not just throwing songs in there and like, I think people are gonna dance and then scream on these moments. Every new song isn't gonna be a scream moment. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you see it happen a lot. If you go to a club or you go somewhere and you see some people standing around or whatever, just because they're waiting. You know
Right.
what I mean? And don't get me wrong, you can, I'm not gonna be the DJ that a club in Vegas is gonna book. I just not, and it's only because you're gonna need to play them top 40 tunes that are banging, that are in the club. It's a remix of somebody that's just hot in the club right now. And I'm just more of an underground DJ. It's all about, to me, it's all about the mixing. It's all about choosing the weird tracks and the ones that aren't known and aren't popular, and just, it's a different style of music, house and techno versus, club and EDM and festival stuff. It's all different. But I mean, really, when you think about it, and I ain't get too deep on it, but, people don't listen to mixes like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
People's attention span, even whether it's internet, whether it's art, music, or whatever, people's attention span isn't, people used to sit down and listen to an hour and 2 hour mix.
Right.
And they just don't now.
Yep.
If you go to a festival, it's all about the drop. That's it.
Yep.
Boom, bass drop. All right. Boom, bass drop. It has nothing to do with the mixing skill.
Right.
And that's the only part that I feel like, there's somebody somewhere, I just haven't found my crowd. You know what I mean? Where looks at it and be like, dude, that dude's really blended. That dude's really he's laid out some interesting, unique tracks versus, okay, he bought the top 40, he bought the top 10 tracks that are on Beatport. Okay. Well, those are the popular ones right now. All right, cool. Well, there's 100 other dudes that are doing that. Right. You know what I mean? So what makes you different? Me and Matt have been talking about that too, as far as, being an installer.
Right.
And that's what I was talking about. What makes you different? Everybody can do it, but what really makes you stand out? Is it how you're doing business? Is it how you handle the person? Is it, so even on an installer, you know what I mean? What makes you different? Oh, it's because you're more thorough. It's because you post it, it's because you do everything. It's because your stuff doesn't come back. Everybody can get it on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, your corners are tight. All right, cool. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think it's the same thing, and so even on that, I don't know. I'm having fun with it, and it's whatever. And thanks to anybody that got on there. And I'll tell you too, you want to send me a T-shirt, I'll wear it on the show, and 4 more people will see it. I mean, if you need that extra 4 people to market your shit, I'm the go-to guy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think the two blend very, very well.
That's good.
The rap and the DJ thing. I think you've got a great combination of both, because they both mesh really, really well as far as, the technique, the level expertise, and everything, in a small package. They both go really well, and you're a creative guy, so I wouldn't expect
good, man.
anything
art,
less.
Right?
Yeah, that's it. It's
all art. It comes out of us in different ways. So.
I love it. All right, we're creeping on 2.5 now. I think we're gonna wrap up.
Yep.
I know you need to get some rest for tomorrow.
Yep.
And everything.
Go in and learn it up tomorrow. Gonna make 15 brand new rappers tomorrow, so
that's it.
Careful, San Fran scene. I'm bringing on 15 new rappers, so
better watch out.
Yeah. So no, but I tell you what, I appreciate it. I think I patiently waited my turn and was excited when you did reach out to me, and I'm sure there's tons of other people too that feel the same way. And so keep doing what you're doing. I hate to say it, and hopefully it isn't take it in any kind of way or the compliment or disrespect, but you're the Joe Rogan of our rap industry. People are excited and they want to tell their story and they want to be on the show and be showcased just like anybody. You know what I mean? And so, and I'm gonna tell you the best thing that I've seen what you're doing is there's people that are on your show and I'm like, I've never heard of them. So, okay, I'm going to listen and learn a little bit about it. And I mean, man, you're digging deep in the crates of rappers that I've never heard of. And it's not because of whatever, or it's not because they don't go to shows or whatever. It's just because there's just so many in different states and different areas that are just grinding on the daily that aren't concerned with going to ISA or SGIA or being at this because they're just, busy at home, just grinding.
Yeah.
And so thank you for that. But there's tons of people that I've seen, that I've listened to on your show, and then, started to follow some of their work. And there's some people doing some banging stuff that maybe I had never necessarily heard of until then. So good, good job on your part as well, man.
Dude, I appreciate that. That really, really means a lot to me. And likewise, at the end of the day, it is 100% all about the guests. And, I'm just kind of just the outlet to get the story out, and the show really wouldn't be what it is. And, if it wasn't for people opening up, which we all know, with this type of industry, there are a lot more people apt to opening up and sharing their stories and sharing tricks and tips and whatnot for the industry to better grow the industry and have good work out there. That's all we want is people to be able to put good quality work out there, and whatever means that it may take, whether it be training classes, listening to the show, watching videos. It's just one more avenue to add to the huge arsenal we have now, which, back then we didn't have any of this training and avenues to get information about. And I'm glad I, kind of stepped out of my comfort zone, because I'm a very big introvert. I'm the guy in the corner most of the time, quietly standing and observing what everyone else is doing. And this has been a great learning curve for me, because I'm able to come out of my shell and talk to different people, in the industry, and share similar scenarios and talk about different things on the show that, could help other people later on that listen in. So
Sure.
Honestly, it's all about you guys coming out and, reaching out, me reaching out to come on. I love it. I want to get every aspect of the industry on here, whether you're new, 1 year in, 6 months in, 20 years in, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
Everybody's got a story, and to share that struggle is huge for other people to hear. So
yeah, and I think it's probably the observation I noticed. It's you're not just going after the heavyweights or anybody that maybe is already in the spotlight somewhat. That you're digging deep in the crates, man. I think it's awesome that, because we're learning about other people, and who knows? I mean, now we know from hearing conversations, there's somebody in my area that's solid, or is just one state over, that now I got a job in that area, man. I can tell from, the conversations they had, they're a good business person, and, I'll send stuff that way just by hearing them and knowing, and, and I think it's letting people open up a bit too. I know I have more and more these past few years, just be surprised, just open up and talk to people, and people are just so outgoing. So, this is just you diving deeper, and letting people know. So good job on your part for sure. So
Appreciate that. Well, is there anything else that you might want to talk about that we didn't talk about during our convo?
No, I mean, I would just say for sure, anybody that, is just interested in training. I mean, there's so many different people that you can get it from. I definitely encourage it. I mean, if you learn from me or Justin or, John, or, I mean, you can almost go and learn something from each person, and further your knowledge, just like I did, but we are, if we are plugging our own stuff, I mean, we are doing that rolling rack class stuff, so it's definitely a good intro and get you touching some different medias. But I mean, heck, man, there's so many people doing good stuff out there that I would say, never, keep on learning and never give up, keep trying, and you'll see that it'll pan out right, because the passion will come out, and then before you know it, that's what it ends up being what you're good at, and that's what your niche is.
Definitely.
So for sure.
Well, let everybody know where they can find more information about the Born to Rap rolling program, and where they can get more information about your business over at Digital FX.
Yeah, so it's digitalefxraps.com. We got an Instagram page as well, Facebook, and then all of our rolling training is through Rolling DGA's website. So we don't, none of that sign up stuff happens through Digital FX. So any of that you want to, get signed up for. You have to check the rolling dates because there's still quite a bit left this year. Like I even know, like this class filled up here, but I mean, you know, we've got you can catch us at the MDM shows where we're doing, you know, basically Matt is doing a free 3-hour, business and marketing and design. And then, I think for a couple $100, $200-300, we're doing 2 4-hour sessions where, you know, we, practice. And so that's the day before the MDM shows. You can do that. And then, you know, any of our 2-day classes that we still have, I mean, there's still plenty left. You know, they're either on the East Coast or West Coast. I mean, we hold them in, you know, North Carolina, RCR. We hold them in Irvine. We hold ours. There's still more. There's another one coming in our location, Louisville, Kentucky, you know, which is kind of a great thing because you get to come in, see the shop, see all of our printers. You know, we've got tons of obstacles there too. I mean, we do cars, but a lot of the program that we do is, you know, day one is, you know, we talk about design and measuring and scaling and doing stuff and being able to quote it. We go over obstacles, you know, simple stuff, door handles, hoods, mirrors. And then day 2, we do a car together.
Wow.
You know, so I think it's a good intro of, here's some basics. Like, can you lay hood? All right, cool. All right, cool. All right, well, now can you get over a door handle? All right, cool. Well, all right, well, here's a mirror. All right, it might be smarter to do it 2 pieces. You know, so I try to keep the basics and keep it on a simple level where, you know, it's not an advanced class.
Right.
So it's one of those, like, I mean, we're not showing chrome, so it's not a thing. So to me, that's where you go other avenues. You know, you go and you learn from Justin, or you go and learn from Adam over there if you're wanting to learn about 3M. You know, so there's tons of avenues. But for us, it's just, we're keeping it simple and keeping it, you know, in a commercial digital sense where, you know, we're showing you how to measure and scale the car and then talking about quoting it. And then that can carry over into, okay, with all these measurements, you can go into knowing how much material you need to order for if you're going to do a color change on it, you know, knowing some do's and don'ts, how to do a bumper smarter, you know, do it in 2 pieces where it's seamed and you're not going to have it come back, you know. Right. We talk about a lot about templates, you know, how to get over the shark fins, how to get over door handles and things in a smarter way, you know what I mean? So I don't know, but it's, you know, definitely geared towards those beginner, you know, to intermediate where you just want to kind of dial it in a little bit more and more than happy to show you any tricks because I don't hold back, you know. My classes, if I have a beginner move all the way to advanced move, I'm going to show it in the class because I want everybody to walk out of there with confidence, you know. That's all we're trying to do at the end of the day is to show that, all right, you can mess with the material, you can fix it, you can mess up, but, you know, here's how you can get it right and then walk out knowing that when you go back, you know, hey, we are going to try our shop vehicle because I think we can do this, you know, just build that confidence in them. So, yeah, for sure.
That's
so
amazing.
Super excited, man. I'm glad you had me on. And then anybody needs any info or just questions, more than happy, man. We'll talk to anybody. You know, if you want to call the shop and just chit chat or you got a question, you know, just hit us up for sure.
Yeah,
so,
all those rolling buyers or all those rolling shops looking for those nice rich blacks or other things for rolling.
Hey, but you know what I'm saying, you be careful. This VG2 is no joke. The grayscale game has changed.
It's huge, right?
The orange, come on, man. The orange that we showed at ISA, I mean, it's KTM orange. I mean, it's silly. You know, the blues are better. The greens are better. I mean, it just, you know, and that's the thing that's probably going to be even more interesting. I mean, these printers are just getting better and the material's getting better. And so, designs are getting better. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen in 5 years now.
Oh, I can't wait.
What are the wraps going to look like then? I mean, because we've seen why Metro going to do why are they going to do a 3D one?
Oh, jeez.
Come on, man.
I know.
Come on. I talked to you about it. I was like, dude, come on with that.
Bruno knocked it out of the park with that one.
Come on, man. Come on with that. Like, you just like, I'm going to go sit down for a while. I'm going to eat some popcorn.
Yeah.
I love it though. That's the stuff that inspires me to keep trying every day too and to keep better, you know. So that's where, you know, we're all learning from each other, man. That's what I love about it. I don't think there's any trade where it's like this.
Yeah.
You know,
friendly competition.
Just constantly inspiring each other. I mean, because when you think about it, it's like, why do we do it? Why did Kevin do this stuff? Why does everybody, Casey, all them do it? You know, because you want to show your buddies, like, dude, look how fresh this is, you know? And then it might inspire him to do something like, yep, all right, well, look what I did after you showed me that, you know? So that's what's cool.
Yeah, just keep setting that bar.
Yeah, man. So,
love it. Love it.
Awesome.
Dallas.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Hey, anytime, man. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you got into a flight this morning and a little jet lagged, and I know you got that class tomorrow. I appreciate you taking the time today to sit down with me and enjoy a nice conversation about the industry, man.
Yeah, for sure. We're rooting for you. I'm going to start a website for you to get you on the plane, man, to get you to RapsCon or get you to FEMA.
One of the two.
You know,
I might have to skip both this year. I got a lot of stuff going on.
I'll send Shane out there with his RV then. He'll have somebody come get you.
That's okay. All right.
You just do a podcast all the way out there.
We'll do it.
Everybody.
We'll do it. Pick up people on the way.
On the road with you.
Oh my God. That could be something.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I can't
Sweet.
wait.
All right, brother.
Appreciate it.
Well, appreciate it. Okay, man. You have a good rest of your week.
What's up, folks? Hope everyone enjoyed this episode. Thank you to everyone that tuned in, and thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to IBOW Training, offering a variety of training options such as training at your shop, group training classes nationwide, and even private design print profile training through remote login. Learn more about IBOW at ibowtraining.com. Thank you also to We Print Wraps, the industry's #1 source for wholesale printed wraps, offering free nationwide shipping across the U.S. and Canada on all orders over $500. And don't forget, exclusive listeners of this podcast save 5% on your next order when you use promo code ALLWRAPPEDUP at checkout. See why industry pros love them and visit WePrintWraps.com. Till next time, folks, that's a wrap.